Right, and we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rugby Fan Forum after our week sabbatical because Stephen went away and basically lived in the Stone Ages where the upload speed that we had on our Wi-Fi was 0.2 megabytes per second, guys. That's how much of in the sticks I was a week ago. So fan forum is unfortunately never going to happen, and that is also why, as you guys probably guessed, there were no watchalong stuff like that. But I'm back in the land of the living, the land of the infrastructure for another. What have we got here? Reason about 50, 1 hour. Then our power goes off for the next 4 hours.
Yeah,
Uh,
correctly so.
but I'm joined by Reza and Chris. Chat very well.
Yes, good. Thanks.
Yeah, can't complain. It was a very peaceful week, mainly due to the fact that Steve was in the bush, well, under the bush and on the coast with no Wi-Fi. But good to be back. Let's talk some rugby.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Much tired there, to be honest. Like it just can the entire whole digital media thing. Go back to I'll go produce a daily paper. Go back to my roots and get typewriter out because that's kind of where they are down there. But anyway, let's soldier on. We've got a lot to talk about. We have got a European Champions Cup final that has been confirmed. We saw Leinster and La Rochelle demonstrate why they are probably the two best sides in Europe right now. And it's quite cool actually because I think often we get to like a European final and you sometimes think, are these two the best teams though? Has a team just gone on a bit of a run? Has a team gotten lucky here and there? Whereas I think you watch those semi-finals, you look at these two teams, you look at the last couple of years, and you think these probably are the two best teams, which is very cool. You're talking a little bit about the Currie Cup, which is going to be get quite interesting over the next couple of weeks. And the big thing we're talking about is the URC quarterfinals, which does begin tomorrow night actually. And just over 24 hours when Dwayne Vermeulen will be running out with Ulster trying to take on Connacht. Then we've got the Stormers versus Bulls on Saturday. We've got Leinster versus Sharks, RIP Sharks. And then we've got Munster versus Glasgow to wrap up the weekend. So without any further ado, chaps, should we just talk about a little bit about last weekend? And I think, Chris, you probably watched it more than maybe we did. I was struggling a bit down there trying to watch it, so I've watched catch up. But Leinster demolishing Toulouse, La Rochelle, then doing a similar job to Exeter. Are these two the best teams in Europe?
Yeah, absolutely. Steve. I did manage to catch both those games. Really good games. Yeah, absolutely. They are by far the two best teams in the competition. I think there was a lot of talk of Toulouse giving Leinster a bit of a game, running them much closer. I heard some whisperings that they might even win, but I didn't think so. In the tip and show last week, I had Leinster -8 on the handicap, quite strong. I just think Leinster just got too much motivation this year, and the momentum and the form of the Irish is just too strong. And then you look at Toulouse, they got the players, but as I was worrying about, they're not nearly as physical as like La Rochelle are, and their discipline is not good. And Leinster just ate them, took them to the cleaners, and then the ref got onto their side. So they ran away with it quite easily. And then that La Rochelle power, I think Exeter were always going to run out of juice. They've had they've had a few big games leading up to that. And La Rochelle at home in Europe is just like insane. Like a lot of those French sides at home are there's that atmosphere and they just get themselves up. But there you are, they blew Exeter off the park. So yeah, in the repeats of last year's final, yeah, we're going to preview the game, but I'm going to stick my neck out. If La Rochelle do what they do best, it's going to be a repeat of last year's result probably.
That's
But
a
I think
big
it's going to be
shot.
a
That's a big shot. That's what we're here for.
No, that's an honest, genuine. I think if La Rochelle do what they do best and on the day do it right, then still going to have a big game on their hand. And I don't know if they will be able to actually live with La Rochelle. Not many teams can when they're like at that, when they're playing like that. But it's safe for Leinster. But I think La Rochelle are just a little bit more physical, more clinical in the physical exchanges. But look, maybe Leinster have learned, and maybe they get their revenge.
Chris, is that your heart or your money talking there?
Yeah, yeah. That's in 2 weeks' time. You can have to put his money where his mouth is.
Well, we will see. That's exactly it. This is just a sneak preview, but we still got some build up to look into. So I'll obviously put the money down when next week's show for sure. Next before the final.
That sounds like an easy out to me, but you heard it. Tune in next week.
My first call is La Rochelle by 2. Another humdinger.
Right. So if I were to go, so if you put money on right now, you put in the La Rochelle win, eh?
Yeah. The thing is, it's in Dublin, right?
Yeah, it's in the
So
Lever Stadium. So that does for me. That's why I think that
that
Leinster's to
would
lose.
probably be the swinger, because I mean, La Rochelle in the previous final as well, right? No, that was Exeter and Racing, I think it was, and then they played Toulouse and La Rochelle. They lost, but La Rochelle lost because they played Botica when he was still a centre, but he hadn't played in 2 months. They should have actually beaten Toulouse in that final as well. So, no, so it's the final we want in Dublin. It's perfect. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, look, I mean, La Rochelle have just been getting progressively better and better. I mean, this is their third final in a row. For Leinster, it's their second final.
It is a third. Yeah, I think I missed. Yeah, I got wrong with finals, but yeah, that's right, Steve.
Yeah, they lost to Toulouse in 2-1. They beat Leinster last year. Now, can they do the double over Leinster this year? Last year was in Marseille. Year before that was in Twickenham, so neutral ground. And this year it will be in Dublin. Now, on that point, I want to talk a bit about this, because next year the game is at the two finals, the Challenge Cup and the Champions Cup, are at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I mean, how's that for a choice of venue?
Yeah. I don't really get that at all. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think if you're trying to promote rugby, why the hell would you go over to that stadium? There's so many classy stadiums, especially in Europe, that deserve a lot of attention, and rugby stadiums. And I don't really get it. I know it's brand new and it's been recently revamped and it's really, really nice, and obviously it just doesn't make sense to me.
I think more to the point.
Yeah, but it's a football stadium, man.
Look, hey, they have NFL there. You can the whole thing. Look, it looks like an absolute. It looks like a phenomenal stadium. I reckon it's on my bucket list to go check, because it just looks like one of those modern stadiums. It's just absolutely incredible. But
that's the case. But I think Twickenham's the home of rugby. I mean, that's if you're going to play it in England, that's where you got to play it.
Well, see, the problem is, the problem is this is the problem. Of the last 6 finals, 4 of them have been in England.
Yeah,
and that's where the problem is. You've had Jadon Park, Newcastle, Ashton Gate, Bristol, Twickenham in London, and now Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Do you have any insight as to how they go about selecting venues?
No.
I would have thought that as obviously a multi-country tournament, that very simple thing to do would be like, well, we're going to rotate it amongst each country each time.
It's not hard.
This is not complicated, you know. And what to me, what that says is that England have a bigger stake in this competition, or let's say influence, than perhaps we realize on the outside, and that's what it says to me.
Look, traditionally, because traditionally, I mean, if we go back and look at the early 2000s, for example, if we look at, say, from 2000, it went London, Paris, Cardiff, Dublin, London, Edinburgh, Cardiff, London, Cardiff, Edinburgh, St. Denis, Cardiff. So you could see it. I mean, there was no back-to-back hostings. There was generally 2 or 3 finals in between going back to the countries. But since 2015, it's gone England, France, Scotland, Spain at one in Bilbao, then England, Marseille in France, Dublin, and then back to England. So I mean, you must be sitting there as a Scottish. Yeah.
Wasn't there was one in Edinburgh, wasn't there? Because I was at it. Saracens versus Clermont.
Yeah, was it 2017?
I'm sure I was at that game.
Yeah.
Chris, what were you I was in Edinburgh. I'm pretty sure I was in Edinburgh.
Chris sitting there in the middle of Bilbao going, yes, the Scottish accent's changed a lot, eh? His mouth was so tan.
Yeah, I was there. It was a good game.
Do you remember what was the result?
It was Saracens won quite nicely in there, but it was nice atmosphere, you know.
I want detail. I want scoreline. I want try scorers. Come on.
Oh, you got me. No.
Let me ask you a better question. How much money did you win that day?
No, it wasn't actually. I actually can't remember. I can't remember a lot about it, honestly. I do know it was. I think pretty well. I do know there was a few of the Sappers still there. Scott Berger, I think it was one of his last games, or he was playing. Michael Rhodes was playing. But what was the score? Let's see if I can remember. I don't know, 24-16.
That's not bad. It was 28 points to 17. And to be fair, do you think Michael Rhodes was playing? Vincent Koch was playing?
He was playing, because I'm sure he scored a try, Michael Rhodes.
Vincent Clark was playing. Skulkberger came off the bench, as did Skulk Brits, as did Petrus Duplessis.
Yeah.
There we go.
So not too bad. Not too bad. Ring in through the beers there.
I was about to say
That was a really good day out.
It sounds like it. and you can't even. And can you remember the referee? Come on, it's an easy one.
Wayne Barnes.
Nigel Owens. Come on, man.
Nigel Owens. Well.
Good old night.
Yeah.
Right. So well, there we go. So that was last weekend, which means that you're gonna lock on the 20th of May for the final, which is going to be a lot of fun. Just very quickly looking at some Curry Cup results before what I want to get really into is this weekend because it's going to be a lot of fun. The Curry Cup results from last weekend were pretty cool because the Lions beat the Pumas. What we do, we go and beat the top of the log teams. At the end of the day, the Lions are our favourites for the Curry Cup, and I will not be hearing anything different. The Cheetahs beat the Griffins 33 points to 10. Sharks beat Griquas 24 points to 6. Western Province hammering the Bulls 31 points to 7. And might I add, not a bad Bull side either.
Mm-hmm. Go on. Who was there?
What you played for Bulls?
Yeah.
Well, there was Orange.
Yeah, let me pull out the team. I don't think Moody played, but where's my team over here?
So is this still under the Jake White tenure?
Under the Jake White tenure, it was Kirsten Cup, Jan Hendrik Bestels, Francois Klopper, Charlie Yules, Janko Swanepoel, Marco Fitzgerald, Reynard Ludwig, WJ Steenkamp, Keegan Johannes Koersen, David Creel, Cornel Hendrik, Stedman Khan, wanted to see the Similani, Kurt Lawrence off the bench. Wow. There was Johan Krobela there, Harold Forster.
And they got hammered.
Yeah, no, they got.
And yes, I lost a lot of money on that game. Because all the punters saw the team sheets and they were like, this, the form the province was showing, there was no, Bulls were going to come win. I mean, on paper, they had to win. And they actually were nowhere. Province actually manhandled them off the park.
Clearly, Chris, you haven't been listening to the show back because every time.
I know. And the thing is also, exactly, and in this previous show I did last week as well, I said I'm not betting on that game because I always think Province are better than they are, and I didn't know what the team sheets were as well back then. But I said, nah, I'm gonna leave it. I haven't bet on Province all season. What do I go do? I bet a Bulls +8 and they lose by like 30. That's a joke.
Well, on that note, that's kind of leading me into the next thing because that's the poll, by the way, everybody. If you're watching, we have put on a poll out, and the question is, can the Bulls beat the Stormers? Just a couple of comments before we go into that. Is Yanni Brad saying, cannot wait for the game. Saturday we'll be there. Matthew Dixon saying his money's on the Bulls and the Sharks. I appreciate the loyalty, but definitely putting money on the Sharks. PK Moss saying the Stormers have too much class to be upset by the Bulls. Johnny saying good ref this time, not much on the business, so it would be Bulls. Angela saying Saracens played there for a league game, and the pundit said the facilities atmosphere was really good. Yeah, I did see that actually, and they packed it out in terms of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So it is a very cool stadium. But just like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they played a few games. Harlequins have played 2 games there recently against Saracens and Exeter, I think it was. I can't remember, or Irish. Yeah, I mean it's a brilliant stadium, best in the world, but yeah, it's not a rugby stadium.
Yeah, I like
the traditional rugby stadiums.
Yeah, it would be like going to like Soccer City as opposed to Ayers Park.
Well, either way, you're not leaving with a phone, so.
Wow. I will go to Soccer City every day of the week before I have to go to Ayers Park. There's parking. There's a nice drive in there. I'll take Soccer City.
Well, talking about Soweto, it's the scene of the crime where the Bulls beat the Stormers in our only Super Rugby final that the Stormers made. So
Bulls are just moving to Orlando Stadium.
Horror memories there.
Right. So speaking of, this weekend we've now got obviously the Bulls versus Stormers. Now, I mean, I think I don't actually know if Jake White has actually beaten John Dobson. I mean, if you look at the record between the two, it's mental. John Dobson's had his numbers since Jake White's come back. I think it's only like once or twice he's actually been beaten by him. So the Bulls have been playing better by last weekend against a Leinster youngster side and a Zebra side. So it's difficult to gauge if they've been better or if they're just playing against really bad opposition. Stormers have not been playing particularly well in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So, have the stars aligned? Can the Bulls do it? Reza, are you giving them a stiff of a chance?
Yeah, I am actually.
Yeah, there we go.
Very much so. I'm not a believer in Jake White. I am a believer in South African derbies and their ability to give you everything that you want to see in a rugby game. And I can guarantee you that no matter where they were on the log, when this game came around towards the end of the season, they were both going to show up and they were both going to put in a performance. And if it is a steamrolling, I can guarantee you the Bulls will not be going out meekly. They're going to be throwing it around left, right, and center, both sides. I'm pretty sure about it. It might just turn into a bit scrappy, but I think they're both going to go hell for leather and just really just enjoy it. It's going to be such a good game to watch. And when those kind of games come along, and especially between two South African sides, I personally wouldn't put a dime down on a game like that, just because I think it's so unpredictable. We love nothing more than to stuff each other up. The only people we love to stuff up more than each other are the English, and they're not involved. So yeah, I think there's definitely a shot. I still back the Stormers to pull it off, but it's going to be a cracker.
And Chris, are you going more one-sided, or also think it'll be close?
No, I'm totally in alignment there with Reza. Absolutely agree. I think Bulls will arrive. I think, like you said, if Stormers had been playing better leading up into this game, I would be far more comfortable that it would be a comfortable Stormers victory. But I think the Bulls, I'm not really, like I said, I'm not reading too much into those two games at Loftus. I think that was almost had to be expected, that they at Loftus put those teams away. So yeah, could have built the two things sort of happened, right? Built their confidence, which I think they do have. I think they have built a bit of confidence out of it, or they're going to run into completely different opposition, and then they're not going to actually be up to the speed that they probably should be. But I'm not anticipating that. I think Bulls have got revenge on their mind. And when Bulls and Province play each other and there's revenge on their mind, it's like I said, it's going to be a physical, brutal affair. And I think
Springboks don't like losing against each other too many times in a row. They're going to come out there trying to murder each other.
So I think Bulls want to come put the record straight after last year's final, and they're probably going to come in with like a Leinster semi-final attitude. And I think Stormers, this is the chance for the Bulls to take the Stormers, because the Stormers aren't on form. But look, if they come as Stormers arrive, they win by 3. I agree with Reza. It'll be a close game within 5. But Bulls are in this game, and I would not be surprised if they sneak it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we all know this is the game in SA Rugby. It always has been the game, that North South derby. I think it's interesting because I think that it's amazing how playoff rugby also does strange things to strange teams. I mean, last year, as I said, the Bulls were not given a chance against Leinster. So they should never have won over there, and they did. And we spoke about the fact, and that's why we kind of gave them a bit of a chance during that Champions Cup quarterfinal, because we just said, if there's one thing Jake White can do, and often even the Bulls side as well, they do know how to win things. They do know how to if they can get themselves into position of playoff stuff like that, they don't often lose finals. They don't often lose playoff games. So,
but the thing is, the Stormers, at home, that's going to be, they are good at home. If they got their defense back to where it's been for the last 18 months, they're so difficult to beat. I'll still say that they are difficult to beat. They've probably got a bit more class around the park in certain positions. I think if Dion Foury's still out, I mean, he's been a massive loss. I think if he's still out, that brings them, as you could see, he's worth some players to teams like Mwanga's to Crusaders, Foury is to the Stormers. They're worth like 7 points at least to a team. So I think that's one of the big levelers for me as well. But I think just in the last couple of years, the Stormers have had their number on the Bulls. I think, this is the thing. We know these teams know exactly the strengths and weaknesses of each, and that's the thing. But I think the Stormers obviously have had the better of the Bulls. But I just think form and motivation levels is where the equalizer is going to be. Stormers a little bit of a dip, Bulls a little bit up. Bulls maybe wanted more. But yeah, we'll see. I can't wait for it.
I wanted to just touch on something a little different. Is that something that I noticed in the games that I have watched is that now that we've seen 2 years of this compared to Super Rugby, is there's not been as much in the way of argy-bargy, and especially as a use as a disruptive tactic. So back in our Super Rugby days, there was a lot of that, and not all of it was just unprompted. A lot of it was stage stuff, things that were planned. Like you're going to have a couple of enforcers, and you're going to be in the face of the other guy, and you're going to make sure that you trigger them as much as possible, because if you don't, they've just a better side. And so that was quite a tactic that was used. In this URC, I don't see a lot of that. And I think that between two South African sides, we'll see which one puts it up. I think with Jake White's more likely to tell his boys to get in the ears of those Stormers guys, throw around a couple of inside jokes that only they would know about. and see if he can disrupt. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bit of handbags thrown.
Well, I think
Yeah.
I think you got to target certain people. You know, you've got to. And for me, if I'm the Bulls, I'll be sitting there telling. If I'm Jake White, I'm sitting there telling my pack, I'm telling Marco Bastard, and I'm telling Amorne Smith, Hero Camp. I'm saying you guys get under the skin of Evan Lewis and get him sent off because he will do something stupid.
Oh, jeez.
You know,
Yeah.
He's unhinged, that kid, eh?
those sort of players. You sit there going, that's one of their best players, but he's a walking penalty if he wants to. He's got a bit of a temper. Try and play into that. I mean, it's like how often people used to just buy yellow cards with Bismarck UPC and stuff like that. There's certain players which are always just they can't resist. They can't resist. And
No.
I mean, Evan Etzebeth, in the beginning, he wasn't in control of those kind of tactics that he used to use. But in his later years now, he's become almost an expert at making sure that he's instigating, but also getting the reaction out that he wants from it and walking away. And so you need that kind of guy to just. You mentioned Michael Rhodes earlier. Also in his later years, a fantastic exponent of getting reactions out of people just by being there. And you want to disrupt them. Even a guy like, if you can get under the skin of a guy like Davian Willemse, his game is gone. And he's very composed most of the time, but he has the ability to crack sometimes. And once you do, I think that you could probably disrupt that game pretty well.
Yeah. Also, Mani Lobok's form's dipped a bit. He's also gone a little bit off the boil.
I think the Bulls need to be targeting certain players, to be honest. I think they need to be sitting there. I mean, personally, I think I'm interested to see who starts to scrum off because I haven't been particularly impressed with Paul DeVette, and I've actually been very impressed with him.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm
glad you bring that up. I agree. Paul DeVette's not the caliber. He's not as good as I was hoping he could be. He's definitely a weaker link there.
Yeah,
Janji should be given the run.
Yeah, and I think if they can target him, and prevent Leibach from getting decent ball and putting him under pressure, I also think that he's someone who sometimes has struggled sometimes when he's been put under a lot of pressure. I think, from a pack perspective, I don't think there are too many chinks in the Stormers' armor. I mean, obviously Dion Freeze the big loss, but Darmani coming back into a bit of form and Evan Lewis coming back, you can probably try and sort of fill that gap. That tight five is really, really solid. It's for me. I think the wings. I think if it becomes quite loose, I'm interested to see who they go. I mean, for example, Hartzenberg kind of dropped out because his defensive his positioning has been a bit poor lately. So I think that's where, for me, your likes of the Kane Moody, Kirkley Orenser, I think if they should be targeting those wide channels. I think if they can get one-on-ones, Kirkley Orenser versus most people is a dodgy. It's a dodgy setup. So if you can get one-on-one with a couple of those Stormers wings, I reckon the Bulls would also exploit those sort of areas.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the thing with Dion Perry. Sorry, Riza.
No, carry on. Sorry.
No, so Dion Perry, not just the turnovers and the points gain, net gain that we have with him on the field. Like Stormers have just looked rudderless. Like that's what's worried me the most is their body language. Like it just doesn't look like if you watch them. I think he was captain. Was it Ori that was captain? I think he was recently, or so. Some were right one. But it's just not the same. That's what I said after the Exeter game, and then they've come back. That's the body language. There was a kiss about the Stormers. They always talked about the team spirit, and when they got talk about all of that, the good vibe. But that vibe seems to be a little bit. That spark seems to be gone. But maybe if they find it this week, they'll do well.
Yeah, I think a lot of that also comes from the exuberance of certain players. So, like you said, the Dion Freeze and Evan Lewis, when they aren't there, I'm not talking about aggression, but just you can feel the energy of certain players, and you feed off that, right? Yeah. So when they're not there, I think it's quite a big problem. Marvin Ori, you mentioned him; he is the exact opposite. The man
Ori, those captain.
Man is a stone.
Yeah. Look, and the thing is, you got to find that balance. You need your stock standard sort of. I mean, that's what Marvin Ori is. I mean, a lot of people don't like him because he's nothing flash, but he's just a very solid rugby player, very nebulous. To be fair, he is somebody that does try to get under people's skin. He actually does it quite well. He's had a couple of moments where whether it's just throwing a ball down or tapping a scrum off in the wrong way, but he's very quiet. And I think you need people that bring that energy, and that's what Dion Free. For example, look at the lines with and without Frankie Horn. They're like two different teams. He comes back and the entire team just sort of suddenly switches up a notch. Siak Elise is a bit of a player like that. He has a couple of runs, a couple of big moments, and everybody around him's like, shit, this guy's playing. I've actually got to step up my game here and try and match what he's doing. So I do think they're missing that aspect of Dion Free many ways more than as you're saying, Chris. His actual what his output is. It's just that that person next to you that's playing out of the socks, and you have to sit there going, shit, I need to be matching this energy. I need to be matching this level of performance.
I agree. I mean, I think we've all played rugby, right? I remember. I mean, I was at a top school, but I remember one or two captains of mine who were just as captains were just like awesome. You know, that energy that they brought to the field. You do, as a player, you do rub off on it. You want to match it, you know. And when you're out there,
100%.
Now the next big question: Bulls did it last year. Can the Sharks go to Dublin and return victorious? What chance are we giving them, if any? Shame, all the lads are watching. They've all signed new contracts. They've got a new coach, John Plumtree, sitting there. Go on, lads, go over there and do something special.
Well, listen, if the guys in the comments want to tell us something different, go ahead. But I think...
you want the opinion? That's the honest. That's my. I can't find a reason or. Yeah, I can't. I mean, they might be able to give them the game. They might be able to play like they did when they played them in October when they put 30-odd points and were up there right until close to the end. But Leinster aren't losing this game.
Yeah, they haven't given us a reason to believe in them.
The reason that's the word.
Now that you're at the end part of the season, I think we can quite happily stick our necks on the line and say, well, you know, on a balance of probabilities, you're going to give us the same that you've been giving us. You know, and so if the probability is 2 out of 10 times you're going to show us a good performance, I think we're pretty comfortable saying that you're not going to show up on the day.
Yeah, and I think just be honest, Sharks have weaknesses that Leinster don't. Leinster are going to show up those weaknesses. Like, even if Sharks do end up scoring 30 points again, which not many teams do there, I can still see Leinster putting 50 past the Sharks, and that's the problem. Like, to lose putting all that points past, I just don't think the Sharks are a cohesive, well-coached unit to live with Leinster. I'm sorry, like, there's some players there, but they're not the same level as Leinster. And to say the motivation levels that Leinster have at the moment, they're not dropping this game. And I kind of made a comment, I wanted Sharks have also cost me a lot of money this season, so maybe there's a little bit of bitterness there. But besides that, I mean, the Sharks have only got themselves to blame to have earned themselves a trip to Leinster for the quarterfinal. They've shot themselves in the foot.
They shouldn't be going over there. They should be playing against Ulster tomorrow.
Some credit to this Leinster team.
They've earned themselves this trip, so they can go and make what they want out of it.
It's like a punishment. Yeah, you want to stuff up. Go to Leinster, get beaten. This is what you get.
Well, I mean, Storm is also kicking themselves, but no one wants to go to Leinster at this time of the year, right? Especially you've been over that side of the world a few times already.
No, and I think for me the biggest issue for the Sharks is that they're missing key players in key positions. You know, no Ibn Etzebeth, no Sekou, no Rowan Jansen van Rensburg. You know, that means you don't have your crash ball centre who's going to get over the advantage line all the time. You don't have
the scrummy.
Yeah, no Jaden Hendrickson, which I think this. I mean, when you say going over to Dublin, I love Grant Williams. I think he's an absolutely brilliant scrum half. You want somebody like a Jaden Hendrickson who can control a game, who can tactically, because he's somebody who can. Like when you're under pressure, you can say, right, boys, we're just going to slow this down. We're going to manage the next 10, 15 minutes. Whereas I think Grant Williams is very much like, right, boys, I'm seeing half a gap, I'm going. I'm like, no. Which is what makes them so much fun to watch. But I think they are missing lots of key players, which maybe could have made them competitive, but I just don't see them being anywhere near good enough this weekend.
Just eating our words.
If I could give a word to Leinster, though, is just like, honestly, having watched more and more of them, and I wasn't entirely convinced in the beginning of the season, but I'm starting to think of this team as the way they play now is like the Crusaders. I don't want to mention the years because it hurts too much, but
Crusaders 1990 through to now.
Well, I mean, as a Lions fan, I know what they did to us, and arguably, even in years where we had our very best team, best chances of them beating them, they still came out and they did the job on us. And this is how I'm feeling about this Leinster team, is that even if any other team right now, I think if they put up their very best performance, Stormers included, and Leinster playing at 85%, I think Leinster win. I think they're just so good. And what I love about them is that they've adapted to a clinical game. It's an all-round game. It's if you were trying to teach kids rugby, I would take this videos of their entire season so far, and show them this is how you game manage, this is how you do basics right, and you will win games. That they are the model for it. There's not a lot of flash, in my opinion. There's not. Most of it is honestly just simple: draw, pass, make space. Draw, pass, make space. What do you do when you're under pressure? Give yourself the room, get territory. They play that kind of game, and it's fantastic to watch. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
And I think what also makes them quite special is the fact that they've got a couple of players who, if there is that half chance, that we saw that Dan Sheehan try last weekend, where one bounced the ball and you've got your hooker just grabbing on it, absolutely gassing half the team and going over. So they've got those couple of players.
That comes from pressure, though.
Yeah.
Right? And so just back to basics again. It's like you always taught, if you put enough pressure on in set pieces, in your defensive lines, folks on the other team are going to do something stupid, and you are going to have the opportunity to have those individual moments of brilliance. And that try was wild, by the way. I don't know, that gas came out of nowhere, dude. I mean, he's gone to bed a happy man after that.
No, that's impressive. But yeah, so last words there, Chris.
Yeah, no, a word that when you talk about the top teams that you've ever seen in play, like All Blacks most of the time, Crusaders, and now Leinster, the word clinical. These teams are always clinical. Like, they do everything that they do, they want to do, they execute. And there's not many teams. They've got all the basics covered. They know their strengths, and you see the execution. You don't see you don't see silly stuff on the field. You don't see bad mistakes. You don't see someone having a brain fart. It's all go time, show time, business time, deliver. And there's not many teams that pull that off over a period of time. And Leinster's in one of those cycles now where they're like the top team that does it. Like the Crusaders have been, let's face it, for the last 20 years, last 6 years as well.
You earn the right to play, right? It's what you're always told. Just earn the right to throw it around, and that's something that I think the Sharks in particular is a team that comes to mind. That they've been chucking it around since like moment one in some games and unable to finish and execute.
Yeah, if you watch teams like Leinster and Crusaders, you never see a ball carrier look like they're shocked to have the ball. Yeah. Like you see, like I'll admit, like South African sides, like Lock all of a sudden have this ball and he doesn't know where he's running. Like if you watch teams like Leinster and Crusaders, everyone, it's just there's purpose on it.
To be fair, I think most of the time the lines
it looks like they know what they're doing.
It's tough one.
Yeah.
But Chris, you spoke about delivery, and delivery is very important. And what we want you to deliver this weekend is more of this.
Oh, more of the good stuff.
Because we're looking good. We've had a hell of a season. I tell you what.
Yeah. Well, I say no losing record yet, even though it's on the line this week because it's only one bet, and it's 4 legs. So we're at risk here, but still pretty confident that it's going to arrive. And obviously, it won't hit the overall record too hard if we do finally fall off the bus. But we're not going to. I'm sure we're going to do all right. But yeah, I mean, obviously we were off last week. Just a recap on the week previously. The one leg that lost us down on the one double was the Newcastle plus 18. Which hindsight was a shocking call because Northampton absolutely blew them away. Yeah, which is I'm a little bit annoyed because Northampton has been a team that I've backed a lot over the last 2 seasons. Lots of people haven't rated them, but they are a very good side and well-coached side. And then looks like they're in the semis again. So that was probably a bit of a brain fart call there. But then I did believe Newcastle's selection. They should have. I was hoping they would also score more points. I mean, they scored the first try, and I thought, yep, okay, it's going to go the way I was hoping or expecting. But yeah, the Saints just blew them away. And then obviously Blues won comfortably. A while ago, who these teams were playing, I can't remember now actually. And then the Rebels versus Sailors, that last try was a last-minute try again. But this is betting, right? I think this is the 3rd week in a row that we've had an 80th minute try bring our bets home. But that's what it is. We've caught the outcome and it's arrived, so we don't look back. So yeah, what's our overall record? We're up to 9.49 units profits, which is pretty good going. So I suppose if you've bet 100 Rand units on all these bets, will be up 949 Rand over the last 6-7 weeks since we've been doing this, and a return on investment of 75.5%, which is very decent. If you look at any tipsters or punters, by bare minimum, you need to be around 20-25% if you want any kind of credibility. You're doing really, really well at 40%, and the top guys are at 60, 70. So
Good there.
what can you say? But
Look what we've got here. Hey, we've got the Leinster of sports betting, ladies and gentlemen.
No, but look, no. I mean, to keep it at 70, that is really good. Obviously, it is a high number, but to keep it at that's gonna be be doing really well. And obviously, over time, that will most likely come down. But maybe I have the magic with you boys, and we'll keep riding it.
I don't like the negative energy.
I need positive. Yeah, no, we'll keep it rolling there. We'll keep it rolling. And this one we have lined up for this week. If that does win, that's definitely going to juice it all up big time. So what we've gone for this week. So yeah, as you guys know, right, I've used the available markets that are around for the show, which is must say a few games and markets that I would normally be targeting, but with what I've got for this during this time now, we're going to go with the Ulster home win outright against Connacht. I don't have any issue with that punt as well. I think Ulster at home are always generally pretty strong. Knockout rugby, Connacht away are generally not nearly as strong, but I'm confident that Ulster will do the business, but we only just need them to win. The handicap is 10, so they're 10 points favourite, which is quite a big favourite, so we just want them to win. See, I've got the Bulls sentiment here. We've gone for Bulls plus 13.5 points. Because the cap is 5. I think either team are going to win. It's going to be within 5, but we'll give Bulls 13 points because you also get more, because Stormers are the favourites. We get more value there at 1.39. So Bulls plus 13.5 points. Reds at home to the Waratahs. This is probably not. Yeah, well, I'm pretty confident the Reds are going to win. So I've taken the Reds plus 4.5. I've taken the plus 4. I would have probably gone Reds money line to up the value, but it is a Aussie derby. Waratahs are playing all right, but I think Reds at home should do the business. And even if Waratahs sneak it in by 3 points, the bet will still come home. So that's why I'm confident on the Reds plus 4. And then tomorrow morning, Highlanders versus Chiefs over 52. Now the points line, the line cap is 60. And usually, prior to this season, New Zealand derbies were often high scoring, and they'll often go over 55. Most games, 60 points. But it's actually been the New Zealand derbies that haven't been producing the points lately. But the competition as a whole has produced in a lot of points. So I'm still happy to take the points, and I actually do genuinely believe tomorrow the Highlanders are going to go hammer and tongue at the Chiefs. I think Chiefs have got a strong side here as well. I think these teams are going to have a good old ding-dong battle. A few tries, some try ping-pong there going on. So over 52, I think it does get close. Pushes definitely minimum 55, but does push 60. So yeah, this is a four-leg bet, 3.33. Because we have made some units here, I'm willing to. Probably would have made it 1 unit or 0.75, but let's use some of our profits. I think there's pretty good bets, and if it comes in, we got a very nice, decent, healthy profit again to add to the record. So, yeah, let's bring it home.
Right, well, there we go. And as always, Spruce, thank you very much. And as always, big shout out to Bed Coaster, who power both the fan forum as well as all our watch-alongs for the weekend. If you'd like to get a Bed Coaster account, check out the description. And that is. I have been following Chris, and there's a nice little this little pocket of money that is carefully growing. By the end of the year, we might be able to afford a litre or two of petrol. So things are getting there quite nicely. And as always, if you'd like to have more tips, because Chris does throw out a few over the weekend, check out him on the Crow Tips there.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff there from our
there's definitely some more doubles and trebles coming this week, and I do like the slate. But like I said, unfortunately, Betcoza doesn't have these games out by showtime now. Like there's the English Premiership last round of the season there. Some games there that I'm eyeing out, and I do quite like some of the Super Rugby games. So yeah, so have a look there if you guys if you follow or interested.
Cool, love your work. Right then, we're gonna go to Duriz, who wants to throw us a bit of a question, and I hope he gets a bit controversial. The question, can you remember the questions now?
Yeah, I do actually.
Thursday, give it to me. Hit me up with some big chats.
Just an interesting one, and I hope the guys in the comments just get involved as well. I saw a post, I can't remember who it was, so I apologize for stealing it from someone. But the question was, if you could bring out one former Springbok.
Which James?
From a selection of 5. not a bad shout, but
Come on!
from a selection of 5, and there are a mixture of positions, who would you bring out? And I guess the idea is they would slot into the current Springbok squad and take them to the World Cup. So your options are, starting in the front row, you've got Oosterhunt, you've got Skalkberger, you've got Fourie de Preer, you've got Percy Montgomery, and I think the last one was Brian Abana, I think it was.
No, Joffrey.
Right. Joffrey, not Brian Abana.
The goat. Chase himself.
Yeah. So Oosterhunt, Skalkberger, Fourie de Preer, Percy Montgomery, or Jacques Fourie. So I thought that was an interesting one. I'd like to delve into it a little bit. We had a little short discussion off stream, but yeah, let's. I'll go last. Let's put it that way.
I'll go first. Say what? I'll put
Okay,
I'll put the
go,
top of the block early on. So I'm going to try and work through with him. So Oosterhunt, the legendary Lucy said. I mean, we've been pretty blessed with Lucy. We went from Oosterhunt to Beeson Tarawera, and now we've got Steve Cook and Oxenshire. So one position we've never really struggled with. In fact, we've had so many we've started turning them into tight ends. So love Oosterhunt, love the idea of bringing him back, but I think we're pretty covered in that department. Skalkberger, I mean, it's difficult to ever say you don't want a Skalkberger in your team. I mean, it's just even when you're, I mean, and South Africa have always had some of the best loose forwards in world rugby. So I'm going to leave Skalkberger there. He might be the one I'm going with, to be honest. The obvious one is Fourie de Preer, the best scrum half of all time. And I'll fight anyone that says it otherwise, because the best players of all time all rate him as the best scrum half of all time. So Aaron Smith can come in a second, but I'm taking Fourie all the time. I think he probably would suit the current team better than any of the other 5. I think that he is such a good game management player. I think he reads the game so well. We do play so much off 9 that having such a good 9 there, I think, would be pretty important. It'll be interesting to see defensively what he would be like compared to like a Faf de Klerk, quite a different type of player.
Do you think that perhaps he might lack a bit of the physicality needed for the modern game?
Hey, look, he wore that hit from Skalkberger pretty well, so I think he'd be all right. Look, I suppose if Grant Williams can play and a Faf de Klerk can make it, well, the Faf de Klerk's physicality always just blows my mind. But then Jacques Fourie, look, I mean, Jacques Fourie was like my favorite player growing up. I think he was most lines, but I mean, he's probably the only world-class player we had when I sort of during my sort of formative years. So it's difficult to ever say I don't want a Jacques Fourie. The Kenya though last year was probably one of the best, if not the best, 13 in the world at one stage. So difficult to. So I think for me, one of the reasons why we're so tempted to put Jacques Fourie is obviously his defensive reading of the game. The fact that we won 2019 based on such a good defensive system.
Keep in mind, I'm not saying it has to be a starting position.
Oh, so keep it off the bench as well.
No, this is in your squad to take to the World Cup.
To be fair, I don't think maybe a Skalkberger does quite well off the bench, but I think everybody else starts if you're playing him. Percy Montgomery, I don't think he suits our current team, to be honest. I think that maybe to a certain degree. I look at he's a world class player, but I think at the end of the day, Billy Lou is the goat, and I'm backing my boy. So I'm between Skalkberger and Fourie de Preer. You know what I mean? I'm actually going to go Skalkberger off the bench as part of the bomb squad. I think in terms of an impact player, I think, which is a wild child to bench him because he's phenomenal. I think, but I think when if we had Seacles, Pierce Depthpoint, Wave playing 55 minutes, and then you released a Skalkberger on an entire team, I think that's quite a frightening prospect. So I'm going to go Skalk.
Okay, that was unexpected.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Okay, because I knocked something and it looked like okay, that's good. Right.
Go on, Chris. Let's hear it.
Yeah, geez. Well, I agree. Jacques Fourie was one of my favorite players of all time. So we had a discussion previously, and I'm thinking of what we currently have. Also loved Brian Abana, but I think at the moment we're spoiled for wingers.
Sorry, Abana's out. Sorry, that was a mistake on my part. It's Abana's not in the discussion at all.
Yeah. Okay.
You got Percy. Percy, you got.
So no, yeah, I think Percy was good for his time. I agree. I don't think Percy would be probably needed now. I think for me, I would definitely have Fourie de Preer starting over Faf. I think he would just bring a lot more and do what Faf does and more. So I would have him as a straight swap out, and I would have probably have Jacques Fourie starting at 13, and Arm could come in as a backline player. But I think Farid was just too. Ahmed is best is good, but I just think Jacques Farid had a little bit. I don't know. He was just, maybe it's just because he's one of my favorite players. I love Arm. Don't get me wrong. Arm's been amazing for the Box, but
He
there
just
was
quite
just
have the
something.
same
Maybe it was
chest,
just.
He just doesn't have that presence. He just doesn't
Yeah,
walk around, struts around like he bloody owns the place.
But I think that the Villiers Farid combo was also was pretty good. They complement each other really well, which is important.
Chat for another day, but I think De Villiers after Farid was never the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agree.
Oh,
I tried
okay.
that he scored against the Lions at Loftus. It was just summed him up perfectly. But I mean, also as a Stormers fan, I remember just him. De Villiers put in Farid away, like most games. It was just so beautiful. 30 meters out, Farid running a line, De Villiers putting him through, or even vice versa. Farid's popping it inside, or it was just awesome. Those two were awesome together.
Yeah. We literally, as far as I can see, he didn't go to Stormers. So don't come here with your, I remember at Stormers, he's a Lions legend, he was there for what, like a season or two.
And Big Joe, is he a Stormer or is he a Lion?
Listen, we've got to claim what we can take here. Like, I'm claiming anyone here. So the reason, now you threw out the question, where you at? So, Chris, you're going for the prayer, and I've gone Skalberg off the bench.
Yeah.
Reason?
I'm almost convinced about the free to prayer shot.
For me, one of the reasons why we're so tempted to put our career is obviously his defensive reading of the game. The fact that we won 2019 based on such a good defensive system.
Keep in mind, I'm not saying it has to be a starting position.
I was to keep it off the bench as well.
No, this is in your squad to take to the World Cup.
To be fair, I don't think maybe a Skalberg does quite well off the bench, but I think everybody else starts if you're playing him. Percy Montgomery, I don't think he suits our current team, to be honest. I think that, maybe to a certain degree. I look at he's a world-class player, but I think at the end of the day, Billy Lou's the coach, and I'm backing my boy. So I'm between Skalberg and Freddie. But you know what I mean? I'm actually going to go Skalberg off the bench as part of the bomb squad. I think in terms of an impact player, which is a wild child to bench him because he's phenomenal, I think. But I think, when if we had Sierklese, Pierce Depscoy, Grave Mirren playing, 55 minutes, and then you release the Skalberg on an entire team, I think that's quite a frightening prospect. So I'm going to go Skalk.
Okay, that was unexpected.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
Okay, because I knocked something and it looked like. Okay, that's good. All right.
Go on, Chris. Let's hear it.
Yeah, geez. Well, I agree. Jacques Farid was one of my favorite players of all time. So we had a discussion previously, and I'm thinking of what we currently have. Also loved Brian Abana, but I think at the moment we're spoiled for wingers.
Sorry, Abana's out. Sorry, that was a mistake on my part. It's Abana's not in the discussion at all.
Yeah. Okay.
You got Percy. Percy, you got.
So no, yeah, I think Percy was good for his time. I agree. I don't think Percy would be probably needed now. I think for me, I would definitely have Farid Dupre starting over Faf. I think he would just bring a lot more and do what Faf does and more. So I would have him as a straight swap out, and I would have probably have Jacques Farid starting at 13, and Arm could come in as a backline player. But I think Farid was just too. Ahmed is best is good, but I just think Jacques Farid had a little bit. I don't know. He was just, maybe it's just because he's one of my favorite players. I love Arm. Don't get me wrong. Arm's been amazing for the Box, but there was just something. Maybe it was just.
He just doesn't have that presence. He just doesn't walk around, struts around like he bloody owns the place.
But I think that the Villiers Farid combo was also pretty good. They complement each other really well, which is important.
Chat for another day, but I think De Villiers after Farid was never the same.
Yeah.
Agree. I tried that he scored against the Lions at Loftus. It was just summed him up perfectly. But I mean, also as a Stormers fan, I remember just him. De Villiers put in Farid away, like most games. It was just so beautiful. 30 meters out, Farid running a line, De Villiers putting him through, or even vice versa. Farid's popping it inside, or it was just awesome. Those two were awesome together.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't.
No.
We literally, as far as I can see, he didn't go to Stormers. So don't come here with your, I remember at Stormers. He's a Lions legend. He was there for what, like a season or two.
And Big Joe, is he a Stormer or is he a Lion?
Listen, we've got to claim what we can take here. Like I'm claiming anyone here. So the reason now you threw out the question, where you at? So Chris, you're going for the prayer, and I've gone Skalberg off the bench.
Yeah.
Reason?
I'm almost convinced about the free to prayer shot. Almost convinced. I think for the same reasons as you, Stevie. Oosterhuis, fantastic for his time, especially, and an all-time great, but not something that we need right now going into this World Cup. Skalky, yes, yeah. That's a tight one for me. And you know what? He's not too far behind in terms of the modern style of play. And I just love Jacques Fourie. So every time I want to say someone else, I'm just thinking about Jacques. Percy, I also think that perhaps his play style might be a bit outdated. But I think if I'm going to go for someone, I'm going to say Fourie Dupree off the bench.
That's not a bad start, actually. I think in terms of somebody who has to see a game or, for example, I don't think you get much better.
Yeah, I don't think he's the starting man right now in this current side, but I think he lends a lot of guidance to a lot of young scrum halves and relatively inexperienced. Some guidance for Faf when he gets a bit excited. Maybe teach him how to box kick, and I think from a leadership perspective, something that we could definitely use in the background there. So Fourie Dupree, the main man, as usual. Ask the breakdown, they'll say nonsense, but yeah.
We're not going to mention people that don't watch rugby. Come now.
And talking about old school and old favorites, my first car was named Os, because Os was one of my first favorites.
Please tell me it was like an Opel Kadett or something.
Donny Gerber and Oosterhuis.
Wow.
What was the car?
Mazda Sting.
324. A Mazda Sting called Oz. I love that.
I'm actually going to have to Google that. I have to go. I don't know what the hell that is.
It didn't look like an Oz, but it didn't look. I know it needed to be a Hilux or something like that.
Oz could probably lift it up. You could probably bench press it.
Okay, so I just want to point out that a Mazda Sting, I've probably confused it with a Toyota Taz so many times in my life.
Well,
I think they come out the same factory, but just with different stickers on it, to be honest.
Wow.
Do you remember those cars? Yeah.
Right, because you're giving away your age there, but... Alright, well, fair enough. Okay, so Reese, are you going Fourie Dupree off the bench?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going Fourie Dupree start. No, I'm going Skalberg off the bench, and Chris was going to go Fourie Dupree start. Well, there we go. I suppose at least we've all got different options. But chaps, before the lights go out, and not in a good way, please do smash like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. To everybody who's watching, chaps, thank you very much for joining me. And we will be back live again next week. We'll be talking about the Sharks as well as the Bulls being in the semi-finals. Imagine that would happen. But at least we know that one South African team will still be in the URC after this weekend. And we'll talk a little bit about more of the news because there's so much news coming through. John Plumtree confirmed today as well, so we're interested to see what the reaction is going to be to that. We've had rumors about Rassie Rasmus potentially taking over as head coach. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of stories, a lot of news coming around. So we'll discuss a lot of that as well next week. But unfortunately, we're out of time yet. So thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Reese and Chris have a great weekend. I'm sure there'll be a bit of banter thrown around the group. Chris, hopefully all the bets do land. And to everybody else, we will see you. Well, I'll see you tomorrow evening for Ulster versus Connacht, where we can watch Dwayne Vermeulen put in one of those meteoric performances just to prove that he still is number one top dog in the side. So join me then.
And so, Stephen, obviously, create more depth, prove that we belong. We finished.
Right, hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. Are we ready? Are we ready for the biggest game of the season so far for our South African teams? It is a quarterfinal. It is a North-South derby. The Stormers versus Bulls for a place to host a home semi-final next weekend. How's that? So with Connacht beating Ulster last night, it means that the winner of this game that we're about to see will play a home semi-final next weekend, which is pretty exciting, isn't it? And definitely sort of, I think, adding to the little bit of the tension already linked to this game, as you kind of imagine. There's always going to be a lot of tension with this game, a lot of anticipation and stuff like that. So kickoff is in about 10 minutes time, so we can really start to get very, very excited. Speaking of getting excited, please do smash like on the video. Please do vote on our poll. Big thank you. We've got a couple of members which I'm going to go through in a little bit. So shout out to the new people who have come and joined the First Sports Members Club. Good to see some new people in there. And yeah, a lot of comments. Jump in the comments. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Let's see if we can get to 24,600 subscribers today, maybe. Try and sort of push to get to that mark. We got past 24,500, but I reckon we can keep pushing today. We've got back-to-back streams, lots of action coming your way. And the question I've been asked the entire week is, how do I watch the action? How do I make sure I do not miss a minute, a second, a half second of the action? We're about to see down in Cape Town. Well, it's quite easy. You're going to follow the guide I'm about to show you. Check out the description. ExpressVPN, TG4, live in HD. Easy as that. In case you need to know exactly how to do it, this is how. Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on First Sports. For today's guide on how to watch Stormers versus Bulls, the second URC quarterfinal, the first one featuring a South African side and two South African sides, which means the bad news is at least one South African side will be going home this weekend. The good news is at least one South African side is guaranteed to make it to the URC semi-finals. Maybe two if Sharks can pull off the impossible over at Leinster. So should be a very interesting weekend. But in terms of this game, it is being shown on a free-to-air broadcast. In fact, all the games are being shown on a free-to-air broadcasters. So basically, go check out the channel. We've got how to watch videos for every single game. We'll be live for all 4 games as well. I'll be taking you through them, and we're going to have a very enjoyable weekend of rugby. So make sure you come and join us for it. But yeah, in terms of this game, it is being shown on TG4. And before I show you exactly how to watch it, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Now, TG4 is an Irish language channel, and it is available for free over if you are in Ireland. However, if you're not in Ireland, you can still access it using a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN, which is tried and tested and works. Now, by the way, in the description, we've got a step-by-step guide and everything you need to do to be able to watch the action. So first things first, you're going to get yourself what we call a VPN, which is a virtual private network. Basically, that will geolocate your device to make it seem as if you're in Ireland. Now, you can use this method to be able to watch every single quarterfinal this weekend. So first things first, we're going to get ourselves a VPN. As you can see, I've got it installed and it's currently running on Ireland. So you're going to go to the little right, that little 3 dots over there. That'll bring up all the locations. You go to Ireland, you connect, and there we go. You're then going to click on the link in the description, which will take you to TG4. And because I've got it running on an Ireland server, I've currently got TG4 running. There it is. As you can see, it is. I have no idea what we're currently watching, but it is working, and that is currently live. That is TG4 live. And in semi-HD, to be fair. I don't think the actual quality of the program is particularly good, but it will be in HD on Saturday. So you can watch all the action live and in HD using TG4 using this method. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. But apart from that, just follow the step-by-step guide and you can watch all the action live. I recommend getting yourself a year subscription with ExpressVPN because we're going to show you how to watch every single game of the Rugby World Cup as well for free as well. So go and get yourself there sorted. Please do smash like the video, subscribe to the channel. To any comments, put them in, or any questions, put them in the comments. Apart from that, we'll see you this weekend for some great rugby. Right, so there you have it. If you are looking for how to watch the game, it is on TG4, which is a free broadcaster, which means if you're outside the UK or Ireland, you can go and get yourself ExpressVPN. Link in the description. Go and get yourself ExpressVPN. I recommend getting a 12-month subscription. You get an extra 3 months free, and you can be able to watch the entire Rugby World Cup for free using ExpressVPN. We can add guys for all of that later on this year. But more importantly, you can watch this match live and on a free broadcaster. You can watch Leicester versus Sharks after this using the same method, and then you can watch Munster versus Glasgow tonight as well. So absolutely no excuse whatsoever to be missing any of the action. Go and get yourself sorted. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask. Put them in the comments and let me know if you have any questions. As I said, please do keep voting. We've almost got 200 votes on our poll. I want to keep that voting going. We've been doing lots of polls. We've been doing polls for man of the match at the end of the game and stuff like that. So it's going to be quite a cool stream. Please do smash like on the video, by the way. Almost 300 people in the room, only 32 likes. Those are rookie numbers. Let's bump them up. Also, there must be some new people in the room, so I'd like to see that subscriber count just continue, rolling over as the game goes. To look at the team, shall we? This is how the Stormers will be lining up today, and it's a very good news for some two big players that are in for the Stormers. First off, Stephen Kitsop will captain the side. He's next to Joseph Dweba and Francois Herb, and all Springbok front row be packing down on a Cape Town stadium pitch, which has been decimated a little bit by that whole monster truck thing they had 2 weeks ago, and so it's not in perfect condition, but apparently it's looking a lot better than it was about a week ago. So hopefully it will hold up. In the second row, we've got Ruben van Heerden and Marvin Orie. Dion Fourie making his return from injury, a huge boost. And if you were watching earlier, the fan forum, we were talking about how important he is to the side. And, if he's, we didn't realize he was going to be available, and saying that, he could be a massive loss for them not being around. Not only just from what his outputs on the playing field, but his, the energy he brings to the side and all the sort of the extra stuff. So he will start today. Next to Chiva Daimani, Evan Lewis. I don't think this pack gets any stronger. Maybe a Sal Murat in for Marvin Orie for Ruben van Heerden, but Ruben van Heerden's a class player, so I don't think this pack gets any stronger. Hershey Yankees next to Mani Liebach. Hershey Yankees been playing a lot better recently. Mani Liebach, they call him Le Bok, so we've got to see that Bok form that's got everybody sort of touting him for higher honours. Let's hope we see it today. The two wings, Leon Zas comes back from injury. Angelo Davids in the 14 jersey. No Thiabelo Sanata involved today. He was in a car accident last night. He is okay, but will not be involved. Dan Duplessis run now in the centres. Damien Willemse at full back. I don't think his team gets much stronger, to be honest. Maybe a Snutland at 14. But apart from that, I don't really see how this team gets any stronger. Off the bench, JJ Kotze, Alex Remark, Nietling Bashir, Gary Porter, Ben Jason Dixon, who's been sublime, Villa Engelbrecht, Paul de Vest, Sasha, Famu Ngomazulu, almost a year to the day where he made his debut last year in the quarterfinals against Edinburgh. A very, very good Stormers side. And this is the Bulls side that they will be playing. Gerard Stennekamp, Jan Kobelan, Morne Smith in the front row. Very settled front row. We've then got Ruan Vermaak and Ruan Nokia in the second row. Ruan Nokia captaining the side. Marco Van Staden, Karlbrik, Ulrich Lowe. Similarly like the Stormers, this is pretty much there. It is their strongest pack. When Marcel Castillo starts playing a bit more, I think you would have seen him move in. It'll be interesting if they were to win today, if Marcel Castillo probably comes onto the bench for next weekend. You then got Ambrose Pierre next to Jan Goosen. Jan Goosen being backed ahead of Chris Smith, who's played the majority of the campaign. But at the end of the day, I think Jan Goosen, he's X Factor. So, they need something different. They need something special today to be able to get the job done. And they are backing that to come from Jan Goosen. In the centres, we've got Harold Forster, Stefan Gans. Kaden Moody's actually been withdrawn, by the way. So Simongile Navuka will come in for him. He failed a late fitness test earlier today, so Kaden Moody will not be involved. Harold Forster, Stefan Gans in the centres. Kurt Lawrence at fullback. Watch out for him with any sort of space. We then got Bismarck Duplessis, Sampiero Mantanzama, Francois Klopper, Janko Swanepoel, Nizam Carr, Keegan Johannes, Chris Smith, and Lionel Mapu coming off the bench. Lots of experience there, lots of class as well. It's two very good sides. It's a Bulls side who've been playing a lot better recently, albeit against weaker opponents. It's the Stormers side, which maybe haven't been playing to the best of their abilities, but they are pretty much full strength. We are just moments away as the Bulls are starting to come onto the field. So go and get yourself your drinks. This is your last opportunity to vote in the polls as well. And go and add your weighting, see who you think is going to win the game, who you're supporting. Once again, if you are looking to watch the match, check the description. ExpressVPN, TG4, live and in HD. Live and in HD, people. It's going to be a fun game. Here come the Bulls in their pink and the Stormers. I mean, look at that crowd. Set to be the biggest Stormers crowd of all time. Of all time. Potentially a 50,000 crowd in. 40,000 tickets had already been sold as of this morning. Remembering that last year during the finals, there were restrictions on the amount of tickets they could sell. So whilst it was a sellout, it wasn't to full capacity. Today, they can sell as many tickets as they want. So it'll be very interesting to see how many people are in. Stephen Kitsop leading his men out. This could be his last game for the Stormers if they were to lose. So Ashiva Daimani got some pink hair there. I love to see it. Evan Lewis back from injury. Dion Fourie, what a player he is. And going to be a very important factor in today's game. Yeah, they come, the men in blue. And we've got 278 votes. I want to know who you're supporting. So in the comments, I want everybody right now, there's 400 people over here. I want everyone here to just go and say where they're watching from and who they're supporting. If you're a neutral, just say you're a neutral watching from London, Tokyo, Brisbane, Washington State, South America. Let's go see if we can start. I like to do a game. We do it more often with the international streams where we sort of try and see if we can tick off every continent. Yeah, let's see if we can do that as well. It has been shown on Supersport Rugby. I assume it's on the premium as well, 201. Otherwise, TG4 people, there's a free channel as well. It is Irish language, so it will be Irish commentary. So my recommendation would be go and get yourself sorted. Go and put that on. Switch to me, and you can listen to some fun alternative commentary, which should be very cool. Jaco Paper, the man in the middle. I would like to have seen like an Amy Barrett-Turan, to be honest. But you don't always get what we want. And here we go. Bulls playing right to left. A lot of tickets sold. I'm seeing a lot of empty seats. Hopefully that will fill up. Hopefully the beer lines are long, and maybe that's why not everybody is in as of yet. But are we ready? Because kickoff is in just a few seconds. Jan Goosen with ball in hands. I'm seeing Cape Town. I'm seeing Abu Dhabi. And I'm seeing kickoff as they go down the left-hand side as Jan Goosen. Early touch for Herschel Yankees. And a step inside of Ruan Nokia. Then he fires out his kick, which will not find touch. Early touch here for Jan Goosen, who's wearing the number 15, by the way. So just trying to work out. I saw the press release earlier, so I just want to see. I think Goosen has shifted to 15. I think Chris Smith is coming at 10, and Kurt Lawrence has shifted to the wing. Yeah, that is the confirmed team news. So an early penalty now there for Stormers for offside. Ruan Nokia can't believe it. What a moment for him in his young captaincy career. Captaining a quarterfinal down in Cape Town. Big moment for the Lock. Big moment for the Union to really... This is... The thing is, you know, and the one thing we can say when it comes to a team like the Bulls is that this is usually Jake White's bread and butter. You know, if there's ever a time where, you know, Jake White and a team can really sort of come to the fore, it is often in sort of situations like this. So, yeah, early penalty there for Stormers. They're going to have a first line-out. First set piece of the game will be their line-out down in their own half. Herschel Yankees having a few words to do, but he's got to have a big game today from a lineup perspective. Marvin Rory will be making all the calls. Pretty sure they'll go to the front of the line. They do. Nice and simple. Popping up to Herschel Yankees first up. Herschel Yankees going on the angle. There's Dan Duplessis gets away from one. Eventually brought down by Jan Krobler. Now Herschel Yankees just chipping it over the top. And that's going to find tuck. Brilliant kick there from Herschel Yankees. What a nice little move that was from the Stormers. Great little chip over the top from Herschel Yankees. He's been playing a lot better. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing from Herschel Yankees. I think that he's been under a lot of pressure recently. Having a look at to see if that pass was for very flat. I must admit, very flat. And then it's a great little chip. He sees the space in behind. It's perfectly weighted. Rolls in towards the corner. And all of a sudden, it's going to be a defensive line for the Bulls on the 5-meter line. Now goes back to Chris Smith. Chris Smith needs to find a good clearance. He does. And Angela Davis thinking about the quick throw. But it's a really good clearance from Chris Smith. They were very well managed. Two good set pieces though early on from both sides. As they try and sort of settle in the nerves, make sure they don't sort of go out too quickly. And yeah, the Stormers on a 5-match winning streak against the Bulls in the URC. They've only lost to them twice in the competition, both back in 2021. Right, Herschel Yankees, to Moiliba, flash Andrew Bassi, popping up to Ruan now. It's a big thumping tackle coming on from Steadman and Khans, but Ruan now doing well to make a few meters. Now Evan Ruiz is going to be driven backwards by Johan Krobler and Harold Forster, working hard to try and rip that ball in the tackle as well. A big game needed from Evan Ruiz. Herschel Yankees, not too many options, goes to the left-hand side. Liebach, passed out wide to Leon Zas. Leon Zas back at the side. Got a bit of space out wide, being brought down by Markham and Starden. They're into the 22, as well as the penalty advantage here are the Stormers. And they'll go back for the penalty. This could be early points here as well. It should be kickable. Although he is moving quite far back here. Is Jaco Paper. Damian Willemse has stayed down, which is not a good look at all. To be honest, as a non-Bulls or Stormers supporter, I'm now just getting stressed every single time. And you can see it's the tackle without the ball there from Kurt Lawrence on Damian Willemse. That's where the penalty has come from. Now, decision time. Are they going to go for points here? He's not happy as Damian Willemse. I'm hoping just a bit winded. Didn't look like it was that big of a hit either, so a bit surprised. A bit concerning. Kurt Lawrence on his Springbok teammate there. There's a good ball out there to Leon Zas. Back in the side. It'll be interesting to see what sort of fitness level he's in. They've gone for the corner here of the Stormers. Playing with a lot of confidence. And you can see there are both tiers. All the tiers are being used over there down in the Cape Town Stadium. So it looks like a really good crowd. Right, Joseph Dreber. Once again, Hershey Yankees going to deliver the message for the line-out. Hershey Yankees is an option. 6-man line-out has been called here. No, let's go full line-out. That's a 6-man line-out. And he goes to Achio Daimoni in the front of the line. Good take there from him. Good line as well. There comes the first running more from the Stormers, but it's been pretty well defended so far from the Bulls. Joseph Dreber has got it. He's trying to get that ball out. He's going to present it to Hershey Yankees. Really well defended, but now swimming. And Joseph Dreber goes himself. Brought down 5 meters out. Good carry from the hooker. And Evan Lewis has left it behind. That should be the first scrum. No, it's coming off his knee apparently. So they play on. Stormers still with possession. They have lost a few meters, but they do still have the ball. Now, Steve Kitsoff, Spicy Plum. Running into Chris Smith and assisted by Carl Brink. Now, Mani Liebach. Liebach goes to shut down Mani. Mani with a bit of space. Inside ball. Back to Dan Duplessis. Dan Duplessis just short. Pick up and go. Penalty advantage as well, I think. So there's another penalty. There's 3 penalties already being conceded by the Bulls. Offside is the call. They're on the 5-meter line. I'm sure they'll chip this out. I must admit, it's not looking particularly good. And from a pitch perspective, so it'll be interesting to see how the first scrum goes. But I think they're just sort of slowing things down a bit. They're going to chip this over the top. The important thing for Joseph Dreber is he had 2 lines and he has nailed both of them so far. But very well defended first ball there from the Bulls. And it's Jan Goosen who conceded that penalty. Right, Joseph Dreber. Goes to Ruben van Heerden. That's 3 from 3. Trying to get a bit of momentum here. Working hard. The turn is cutting out. They're making a couple of meters. They're not far out here. Joseph Dreber trying to get that ball out. They're almost over. The question is the ball free? Who has it? Dion Ferry! I don't know if he's gotten down. And Bro Sapir doesn't think so. We're going to go upstairs. We could have our first try here of the game. We're going to have to upstairs there and check. Marius, we're going to have to take a try here, please. Unfield, this is no try. I think Dion Ferry does lose the ball as he's trying to find grounding there. Yeah, loses the ball forward, and then Ruben van Heerden does got it down. It will not be a try. I don't know if they have a penalty advantage, though. Yeah, this turf is looking absolutely dreadful, though. You can see Dion Ferry desperately trying to turn. Probably better just popping that up. In fact, why didn't he pop it up? You can see Ruben van Heerden was calling for it, and if Dion Ferry had popped up, he would have had the easiest of tries. So, if you're going to be harsh, maybe a case of Dion Ferry, a bit of a try line fever. It will not be a try. Chaps, come on, this is taking too long here now. You can see that it's. Yeah, so he loses contact. It's not going to be a try. So let's move on. Yeah, let's keep this game going. If you're looking to watch it, as I said, check out the description. You can download. You can get yourself ExpressVPN and watch it live on TG4. Last forward in the goal, so it'll be a goal line drop for the Bulls. Right, so the Bulls survive that. I'm going to end the poll. We can get up to 500 votes. People got 441. So if another 60 people add their votes, let me know who you think is going to win. It's pretty close now, I thought, actually. So currently Storm is leading with 67%. Jan Goosen with ball in hand. He will be charged with the goal line dropouts. But you can see the field after that whole monster truck thing is looking a little bit pepper, especially in that spot, to be fair. There are some that much better areas. Anyway, the restart forced to Liebach, who goes inside to Evan Ruiz, who's brought down by Marco van Staden. Good ball retention so far from the Stormers. Moving from here and inside ball to Damien Willems, who's back up, spins away from one, makes a meter or two. Bit of variation on attack there. Now Hershey going down the left-hand side. Stephen Kitsov puts his head down, runs into his scrum opposition today. Mornay Smith. Now Hershey dabs a little kick in behind, putting Chris Smith under a bit of pressure. Chris Smith just tried to step in, but he's been caught on the ball. Now Ambrose Sapir, turnover ball here for the Bulls after that grabbing in behind from Hershey. I don't think it was the worst option, to be honest. Playing a bit of territory game here. Now Ambrose Sapir is going to roll this back. Ambrose Sapir. That's a pretty good kick from him, but it'll still be Stormers' speed. So quite frankly, at the moment, I'm quite impressed with what I'm seeing from Hershey Yankees there. Nice couple of game management kicks and a nice little chip in behind there. And the main thing for the Stormers is winning the territory battle, keeping the Bulls parked inside their own half. It'll be Stormers' bull just past the 10-meter line. It looks like another 6-man lineout. Joseph Drever's been started pretty well with lineouts. Hopefully he can continue that from a Springbok perspective. We want to see him nailing his lineouts. Good lineout there again. Taimani. Now goes Liebach, flat ball to Dan du Plessis. Dan du Plessis still going. He's in brilliant form. He's still going as Dan du Plessis. That's a great run from him, winning at least about 7 or 8 meters. Now, first carry of the day for Joseph Dweber. Big physical collision there between him, Johan Krobelaar, and Carl Brink. Monty Liebach showing going. Monty Liebach straight through the middle. He's got options as well. He's got on the inside. Gives away to Hershey Yankees. Just brought down very well by Johan Krobelaar. Pops up a go for Evan Ruiz. He needs some support. Damien Phillips is arriving. Ball available for Hershey Yankees. Joseph Dweber. Long pass out wide. If this goes to hand, this should be a try. Hativa Diamani into the corner. Stormers open the scoring. And it's Diamani, of all people, the character that is Hativa Diamani. Look at the smile on his face. Just remember last time that they won the competition, he got drunk for the next about 5 or 6 days in a row. Even had a beer with the Cape Town mayor. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're the mayor of Cape Town right now, I'd start pouring it because Hativa Diamani is over. The Stormers are over. They take an early lead. Perfect start for the home side. It was the run from Liebach there, and the Bulls' defense just opening up. A couple of nice carries there, strong carry there from Joseph Dweber. Hershey Yankees not going. Monty Liebach was looking for it, and then just steps on the inside of, I think it's actually Malcolm Staden. Inside ball is a good coverage tackle from Hershey Yankees, but quick ball. Evan Ruiz picks up and goes. Hershey Yankees does well to get to his feet. And I'm trying to see who throws the pass out. Yeah, Joseph Dweber pops it up, and I think it's Dan du Plessis. Just fires the pass out wide. There's so many options there. So much space. It was always going to be able to go over. It's a great try. Great start. Right, the leading scorer of the URC at the moment, Monty Liebach will tee up his first conversion. Needs to kick well off the tee. Yeah, something he's been criticised a little bit for recently. But that started towards the right. It's coming back in beautifully. Straight over the middle it goes for Monty Liebach. What a kick from him. And if we have a look at the stats, we have a quick stat attack here. This is what the stats are looking like. 76 possessions so far for the Stormers. And 3 penalties conceded from the Bulls. Stormers have literally made no real mistakes so far. And long may that continue for them. I suppose 82% is just updated there. So Bulls just can't get their hands on the ball. And that's a pretty interesting kick that we're busy looking at. We missed the kickoff there, but it's been also looked like a bit of a grubber in behind. Quirson now lifts it high in the air. Chris Smith's going to go on the charge, but it's pretty deep, so it should be pretty straightforward for David Willems. So he goes up, comes down, gets the ball away to Monty Liebach. He's spotted a bit of space down that left-hand side. And Jan Quirson is retreating. Now he looks towards the left-hand side. While position is Damien Willems. He decides to mark it and slow things down. And in fact, he's just going to take the boot now. And he hammers it towards the right-hand side. Back towards Jan Quirson. Back towards Damien Willems. And this time, Quirsen's gone too far. It's bounced into touch. And this will be a Stormers lineout back in Bulls territory. Well, I'll tell you what. Bulls at the moment with no possession and very little going right for them at the moment. So worrying, I wouldn't say worrying signs. It's very early days, but that's a poor mistake from Johan Quirson. You can't really afford to be doing that. Right, so far 3 from 3 is Joseph David. In fact, it could be 4 from 4. Bulls haven't really competed. Once again, they go to the front of the line there, go to Ruben van Heerden, Joseph David coming on the side there. Pretty poor pass, but it's passed up quite nicely for one now. He gets the offload away to Angelo Davids. Angelo Davids getting away from one, losing his footing. Johan Kobler goes over, but it's well done. And then Herschel actually spots a bit of space down the left-hand side. Goes to the boot once again. There's no Bulls players. And is that going to stay in? No, it's going to roll up. Beautiful kick once again from Herschel Yankees. He's arrived to play. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Herschel Yankees, I talked about the fact that I think he needed to start for this weekend. He's off to a blind of a start here. We're going to end the poll. 538 people have voted. And 67% of people reckoning the Stormers are going to win. They've gone off to the right sort of start. And right now, flat ball there off the back of the line to Carl Brink. Oh, jeepers, well, he's just sat down Evan Ruiz. Evan Ruiz won't appreciate that. That's a huge cave from Carl Brink. And they've won the penalty as well. I think hands in the ruck is the call. It's against Dion Ferry. Who will not be the first time he'll concede a penalty today. He likes to live on the edge, as any player who's good over the ball does. But I'd like to have another look on that tip from Carl Brink on Evan Ruiz. He's completely run over him. Now the Bulls an opportunity to just sort of slow things down a little bit, kind of grow into the game. Look at this from Carl Brink. Bang! And the handoff as well. Throws Evan Ruiz down to the ground. And Chiba Diamani is there to help out. Yep, and I think that's a bit of a lesson for Evan Ruiz not to go too high on him. Carl Brink has always been very physical. Looking at that, 92% territory so far for their home side. That's 8% for the Bulls. For those looking to watch the game, please do check the description. We do have a guide on how you can watch the game. Obviously, you can't show any match footage here or will be taken down quicker than Kurt Lawrence takes a half gap. Now it's turnover ball, by the way. Yeah, Evan Ruiz, walk away. We spoke about it a bit in the fan forum, the fact that Evan Ruiz has a bit of a temper and needs to make sure that he doesn't let that get the best of him in these sort of games. So I'm not quite sure what the call is here. Maroon from Mark goes over. The sack was good. And then Evan Ruiz gets his hands over the ball. So it is a turnover ball. That's really well done from the Stormers. First opportunity for the Bulls to try and set a foundation. First scrum of the day. Now, two questions. First of all, how are the Bulls going to manage the Springbok front row? Second of all, there's only 1 kg difference, not the heaviest of packs. 877 for the Stormers, 876 for the Bulls. Interesting to see where they're losing the weight. For the Stormers, probably losing a bit of weight in the likes of a Diamani, for example, who's a bit lighter than like a Ben Jason Dixon. Bulls, I don't think Mornay Smith is quite the Francois Herbert type build there. But I'm interested to see how this goes. Right, first scrum of the day. How's the pitch going to hold up? You can see it's already sort of breaking up a little bit. Second shot, penalty advantage here for the Stormers. Herschel Yankees goes to Moyne Liebach. Moyne Liebach goes behind to Angelo David. Leon Zatz pops it up on David Willemse's thrown out a Hail Mary pass. And it's gone out into touch. They'll go back for the penalty. Well, 1 scrum, 1 penalty. The Stormers will enjoy that. You can see Stephen Kitsov, really working hard. They're losing his footing a little bit. Interesting not to have been pinged for that, actually. But, yeah, the ominous signs in terms of the turf, it is cutting up a little bit, and we don't want to see that. To be fair, though, that's been an issue even without the whole monster truck thing. Looks like more and more fans are jumping in, and they have caught the kicking tee here, have the Stormers. Moyne Liebach is trying to find some decent ground to try and put his kicking tee down on. The shot clock is on, though. So he's only got 40 seconds. The crowd is filling up nicely here, to be honest. We saw a lot of empty seats, as I'm sure everybody was getting stuck into the bar and getting the beverages sorted. And why not? It's a Saturday afternoon, beautiful day down in Cape Town. You've got a quarter final, and Moyne Liebach is going to be lining up his second attempt of the day. He nailed the conversion quite nicely early on. This is further back, but probably on a similar line. This for a 10-point lead. That's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Straight over the middle. And he extends his lead at the top of the point scoring mark. We're going to put a poll out. Should Moni Liebach go to the World Cup? That's the poll I want to throw out for now. We're going to do polls throughout the half. Yeah, simple yes, no. Go and vote in the comments over there. Let me know if you think that he should be an option for the Boks. As the Bulls look to restart. They get down to 10 points to 0. So trailing by 10. Haven't had any possession inside Stormers territory. So it's been pretty one-sided so far. Chris Smith going down the left-hand side to Damian Willems. So Damian Willems is getting away from Creel. Eventually goes to the boots and finds his clearance. Does find touch. Very, very good touch by all the way back on the Bulls territory. They did quickly though. Chris Smith now to the left-hand side. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'll tell you what, that's the first massive mistake the Stormers have made. Hershey-Yankee's getting that completely wrong, diving for the ball. And he's now knocked that out on the 22. So it'll be an opportunity now for the Bulls to have an attack now just outside the 22. Their first set piece, actually, of the game. And if you ask me to show the game, no, I can't show the game, guys. It's pretty illegal to show match footage on YouTube. Like, it's basically the same as walking into an ice store and walking out with an iPhone. It is intellectual theft. So I do have a guide on how to watch the game. Check the description. It is on a free broadcast. To get yourself Experience VPN, you can watch the game for free. Go and check the description for the complete guide. And once again, the Bulls an opportunity, and they've turned it over here. The Stormers, they went to the back of the line. Ruben van Heerden managing to come through, get his hands on the balls. Ruben Norkeer having a conversation with the referee about it. But Jakob Paper unmoved, so it's another turnover ball. Bulls just haven't really arrived in 18 minutes here, and it's hard to think of anything they've done well so far. Stormers, it's hard to think of anything they've done badly. That mistake there from Hershey-Yankees immediately fixed by Ruben van Heerden, who's got his hands around the ball and turned it over. So it'll be a Stormers scrum on the 22. John Dobson watching on. Very nervous watcher is John Dobson. Never looks particularly happy when he's in the coach's box there. Always full of smiles afterwards. And I want to look at the stats just to show you the dominance here. Look at that possession, 67%, 33%, we're almost 20 minutes in. The territory's even worse. So it's not been a good start here for the Bulls. Now another scrum. The first scrum was a penalty to the Stormers. This one looking far more evenly contested. Hershey-Yankees. Liebach goes back to Hershey-Yankees. Hershey-Yankees is reined in by Markov and Staden. He had to do well to try and get into that the number 9. And good counter-ruck, but lots of Stormers players piling in there to add their weight. Now Liebach goes to Steven Kitsoff. Could have another home game next weekend if they were to win this one. Now David Creel, first opportunity with him with a bit of space. He runs to Dion Free and Ruben van Heerden. Now quick ball from Papier, goes to Ruben van Mark. First couple of fans for the Bulls inside Stormers territory on the 20-minute mark now. Kyle Brink, he's already run over Evan Roos today. Down the angle, doing well to try and find a couple of meters, but it's well defended by Van Heerden and Darmani. Now they go back to Chris Smith in the pocket. Chris Smith goes to the aerial route, being chased hard there. Could Lawrence say, oh, I'll tell you what, he almost took it out brilliantly in the air and then spinning it and ruined now. And they'll go back for the knock on it. But Kurt Lawrence, that was almost a brilliant take from him in the air. Getting in front of David Willems and just spinning the ball forward. It would have been a nice contest. The two Springbok backline players going up against each other. And then Ruan Nile just not being able to pick it up, but they had the knock-on advantage anyway. So they'll go back for a scrum. As I said, a second scrum looking far more solid. So the Bulls will be a little bit more confident about themselves going into this scrum. It will still be a Stormers put in though. On the 22, they're just to the other side of the field. So on the left-hand side. Head-to-head, they've Stormers winning 5-2. They've scored 16 tries each in these two in all their past 7 games in the URC, and 170 points scored by Stormers, 153 by the Bulls. So basically, whoever wins this game will get a home semi-final next weekend. That is as a result of that Connacht result last night. Connacht beating Ulster, and both of these sides would have home semi-finals if they were to win this game. Right, we're at the 20-minute mark here. So far, 10 points to 0. And very solid once again, Hershey Yankees. Goes to Liebach. Liebach going down the center of the pitch. Now Jan Goosen lifts it for Kurt Lawrence to chase. Kurt Lawrence is tearing after it. Mine Liebach. In fact, he's won it by himself. He's absolutely nobody around him, Kurt Lawrence, so he's won it back. Mornay Smith helping out scrub after Albert Lowe with his first carry. Now Goosen to Harold Forster. Harold Forster spinning away from Ruan now. Run from Mark now. It's a terrible tackle at 10 for Marvin Ory, but just Weber doing the business there. Almost a knock on. Yeah, it is a knock on from Ruan Nokia. Tell you what, he's not had a particularly good start to things at the Bulls captain, and the Bulls just sloppy at the moment. And the Bulls, I tell you what, I mean, it's still a long way to go, but they kind of need. I mean, that's a dreadful tackle at 10 for Marvin Ory. He just puts his shoulder there. Just Weber going low and doing and completing the tackle, and then the ball popping up. Ruan Nokia taking it very poorly, well, not taking it at all, and the bouncing it, and just to have gone forward. We're going to have a drinks break here. I'm not quite sure why. But look at it. Willem Haddis is in the crowd watching on. Doesn't seem to be gripping a beer, which I find very hard to believe. So I reckon he's probably got that smell underneath his chair or something like that. There's no ways that Brock Harris is busy watching a Stormers quarterfinal without a beverage in hand. If that is the case, then we should be very, very concerned about him. Right, so what a break at the moment, and we can have a look at some of the stats. This usually looks about not better to go, but 69% possession so far for the Stormers. Nobody has lost a scrum yet. Bulls haven't had a scrum actually. Both lines are operating at 100% so far. One try, one penalty for the Stormers. Penalties conceded have been a lot worse for the Bulls. They've conceded quite a few. And it's a penalty here actually for the Bulls. So Jan Goosen is going to step up and try and get his first points of the day. Yeah, I think they're having a look at this Marvin Ory. Yeah, there's just no arms in the tackle. When I watched it, I said it was a pretty dreadful attempt of a tackle. So, right, Jan Goosen, first kick of the match. Bang in front on the 40-yard mark. He's looked like he's hooked it. He has hooked it. That's gone down the left-hand side. So that's a big opportunity missed from the Bulls, who, yeah, have really struggled. Get an opportunity, and they've just panned to a Bulls support. And I won't repeat what they said, because I think that we'd probably be demonetized. But to put it mildly, I don't think they were impressed with that effort from Jan Goosen. So Bulls still remain scoreless. Now Liebach down the left-hand side there. Albert Lowe underneath it. Carl Brink. Good carry from this time. Evan Ruiz completing the tackle. Emergency pick going to Hurson. Hurson long ball out towards Deban Khans. And tell you what, it's very well defended by Angelo Davis. He doesn't get the offload away to Chris Smith. He's still going up to the 10-meter line as Chris Smith. It's a good carry from him. Bursa Pierre now going to Ruan Nokia. Bursa Pierre, Jan Goosen, Mornay Smith. Dion Free all over that ball. And winning the penalty. There it is. There he is. Brannett with the turnover. His first turnover of the day. Spoke about how important it's going to be for the Stormers. And there we go. Demonstrating just why he is so vital to them. A really, really important turnover. Once again, the Bulls just not managing to get any momentum. Really not getting a grip of this game so far. Marty Box now got an opportunity to put the Stormers back inside Bulls territory. That's a good kick coming from Marty Box just outside of 22. Mornay Smith. And just the clean out from Karel Steelenkamp. Eventually, the clean out does come from Ruan from Mark. but too late there. Marco Verstappen has got the most turnovers in the URC. Dion Free sitting with 16. Dwayne Feeney with 13. So another turnover from Dion Free, and he will go level with turnovers with Marco Verstappen. Right, Ruben van Heerden pops it up and pops it up to Hirsch Yankees. Hirsch Yankees going to Moinliebach on the left hand side, chips it over the top. That's going to go too far. It almost hit the post actually, and it has gone run dead. Yeah, not the best chip in the world from Moinliebach, just going far too far. And David Creel, and they've started quickly, and they've hammered it back to Moinliebach. It goes inside to Evan Roos. Now Evan Roos is going to try and find a bit of space. Runs inside of Harold Forster. He's eventually brought down by Jan Goosen. Now Stephen Kitsoff. Back inside Damian Willemse. They've tried that a couple of times here at the Storm. It's interesting to see. And it's been Damian Willemse who's called it both times. Evan Roos now first receiver going to Moinliebach. Moinliebach seeing a bit of space. Trying to go inside with Moinliebach. It steps inside of Ambrose Pierre. Now he gets the pass out to Angela Davis. Has he got the pace? He throws the ball back inside. The ball's gone loose. Kira Steenekamp, Carl Brink has stepped out. Hachiba Diamani is down, not moving. He's going to need a bit of attention. Once again, Moinliebach finding so much space to run in, getting in front of the ball carrier, throwing up the pass as well to Angelo Davis, who I think does very well to keep it inside. And if he has kept it in, then it will be a Stormers line on the 5-meter line. And it's a mismatch here. Moinliebach getting outside of Carl Brink, then he steps away from Ambrose Pierre, throws the pass in behind Chris Smith to Angelo Davids. He does keep it in, I tell you, he does keep it in. So I think this will be a Stormers line-out. Yeah, I think it could be a Stormers line-out. So this could be a really, really good moment for the Stormers. I'll tell you what, they score a try here, and Bulls would be at least 15 points behind, unless there's a bit of a knock-on as well, potentially. Stormers ball. It is a Stormers ball, so it will be a Stormers put into the line-out. Just not finding the balance of the ball at the moment. The Bulls under a serious amount of pressure. Right, Joseph Derby hasn't missed the beat yet from his lineouts. Almost scored off a rolling more earlier where Dion Free knocked it on over the line. So we've got a review from the tackle. I think it could be on Chiwa Diamani. Actually, I don't know who this is on for. We've got a review for foul play here. Yeah, I mean, as Matthew Pierce commented, make a good point. You know, if they go and they find the penalty, it'll be a Stormers ball on the 5-meter line. They're going to kick it out anyway. Yeah, so it's 7 blue. It's Carl Brink who he made the hit on Hachiwa Diamani. We're going to have to look at the other angle here. Yeah, so it's going to be a penalty for the Storm. It's going to make no difference because all they're going to do is kick it out. As I said, this is a bit long-winded because they're going to award a penalty to the Stormers, and all that's going to happen is they're going to kick it out for a 5-meter scrum anyway. I mean, for a 5-meter line anyway. So it's the long-winded way of getting to exactly the same result we had because they were busy lining up for their 5-meter. Yeah, I was about to say, they were talking about a penalty try. Definitely not a penalty try for me. But a penalty. Oh, a yellow card. But a yellow card, well, I suppose that's quite significant. Right, Bulls down to 14 men. Welcome back to words for the away side. Carl Brink's going to spend 10 minutes in the bin just for being pretty silly, to be honest. No real need there to take out Diamani. Anyway, the Bulls with the Stormers with 5-meter line. They do go to Marvin Norrie. So far, pretty stagnant tree, but now trying to start getting rid of second shove. The Bulls. Joseph Drebber with ball in hand. But there's a couple of plays. He goes down the blind side of Joseph Dweber, and is he going to find grounding? I think that is absolutely brilliant from Ambrose Papier. Goodness me, that's good. That's good work from the scrum off. Yeah, Ambrose Papier, take a bow. It's not easy to be stopping Ambrose Papier. I mean, to stopping Joseph Papier from that line. But to be fair, what was so intelligent about that is he didn't even try to stop him. I mean, you can't. You know, if you look up and you see Joseph Dweber running towards you, you know you're not going to be able to stop him. So what he does so well here, Ambrose Papier, is he just gets his hands on the ball and just falls over the line and just wraps himself around Joseph Dweber and the ball and says absolutely no chance of getting this ball down. That's really, really good defense from the ball scrum off. Stormers do survive. Bit of a wasted opportunity there. Chris Smith has taken the goal line dropout. So Stormers back with ball on the 10-meter line. Evan Ruiz. Another carry. Hershey Yankees looking to snipe himself. Now goes to Moy Liebach. Wasn't the best part. And it's knocked down from Gans. Penalty seems a bit harsh. But yeah, this penalty. This could be another 3 points here. That's interesting. They're going to kick for the corner here, the Stormers. So with the one-man advantage, they're backing themselves. They want to try and find some more points. Right, so the ninth line of full. Now the stadium looks very full. I'd say all of a sudden everybody seems to have arrived and taken their seats. The stadium looks absolutely pumping. Right, Stormers. Marvin Ori, good take from him. Once again, going for that rolling maul. It's shoved towards the left-hand side. Seems to be a bit much better. They've got a bit of a run. Ball has come down. Is the ball available is the question. Hershey Yankees is digging for it. I think he has it. Yeah, so the ball is available for Yankees. They're 5 minutes out. Steven Kitsoff. Nice solid carry from him. Hershey Yankees. Now Joseph Dweber puts his head down. Makes it a me to a 2. Now Hershey Yankees. Leon Zas left the ball behind. And it is a knock-on. It is a knock-on. So Stormers, that's 2 opportunities they've had. Leon Zas, Sarai smiles, he left the ball behind. But tell you what, the Bulls are under so much pressure. The Stormers all over them. And I'll tell you what, I think if he managed to hold on, I think he was through. So it could have been in try time there. So that's two opportunities gone missing. Gone a-begging. Right, scrum on the 5-meter line for the Bulls. This is where the Stormers could use a really big shove. They are playing on what looks like one of the better patches of grass in the stadium. And we're going to have a reset. Issues on the far side between Steven Kitsoff and Mornay Smith, so we're going to have a reset. Right, we're going to end the poll now over here. So we asked earlier, should Moy Liebach go into the World Cup? And of the 338 votes, 81% people are saying yes. So apparently, Moy Liebach, you could be going. If you would like to sort of add to that, we will be restarting, getting back to our Forever Sports fan-selected World Cup squad. We've done the props and the hookers so far. We did that on Wednesday and Thursday. On Monday, we will be doing our locks. And then on Wednesday, we'll be doing our loose forwards. So, yeah, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, because then you'll get a notification when we go live for those shows. And you can be a part of choosing a fan-chosen sort of World Cup squad, right? The scrum is ready to go. Big push and pressure coming from Steven Kitsoff. Ambrose Papier goes to Jan Goosen. And Goosen does find a clearance. And it's a decent clearance as well. It's about halfway between the 10 meter and the 22. So not out of trouble yet with the Bulls. But at least they've put a bit of distance between the try line and the Stormers. have a look at the possession stats over here. Sitting at 58%. It's interesting. Right, good line once again. Andrew see good handling. Leon Zas almost left the ball behind once again. Is tackled well by Hal Forster. Now Evan Ruiz. Hit hard by Ruan Nokia and Mornay Smith. And he's fallen pretty badly. And this could be a turnover here for the Bulls. In fact, they've won the penalty. Yeah, and that's Ulrich Lowe's won that penalty. And Evan Ruiz just couldn't get himself down to ground. And he fell, I think, on top of Mornay Smith with his back on him. So just the ball was there for taking. Ulrich Lowe getting over the ball, winning it as well. So the Bulls, to give them their credit, since going down to 14 men, have actually defended pretty well. They've had to weather quite a big storm. That's a pretty important turnover coming from Ulrich Lowe. And now Chris Smith will find touchdown on the left-hand side. Carl Brink still in the bin, so Bulls still down to 14 men. He should come back just before half-time. And just look, it's a big tackle coming. So Ulrich, it's Ruan Nokia and Mornay Smith who make the tackle. And then he falls pretty badly, and Ulrich Lowe gets straight over the top there. There's no players that really need to roll away from him either. So the Bulls have also scored the most tries after winning a turnover. It's a total of 16. That's interesting, but they have not won that line. It's a brilliant steal from Marvin Ori. Joseph Davis giving it away to Marnie Liebach. He's chipped it over the top. Ruan Nell's regathered. He's got options. Does he need them? He pops it out to Achiro Darmani. Good continuity into the 22 here. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if they recycle that ball, that's done really well. Marvin Ori take a bow. Half mile over at first receiver. See, it gets up with a half break. Yankees now on the left-hand side looking for support. Evan Ruiz now. Gets away from one, gets away from two. Still going as Evan Ruiz. Joseph Deba there with support. Hirsch Yankees fires it out to Liebach. Liebach fires it over the top to Dion Free. Dion Free out to Leland Zas. Leland Zas in the corner. And that is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant from the Stormers. From the steal to the line break, the chip over the top, the first receiver there, crossed by Herbert to Kitsov's break. That is champagne rugby at its best. Stormers score their second try of the match. Leland Zas on his return goes over in the corner. 15 points to 0. Ominous signs for Jake White and his men. Let's look at this steal. That is absolutely brilliant from Marvin Ori. Goes up early, gets his arms across. Then Joseph Dale, long pass out towards Marnie Liebach. The Bulls backline very flat, or very deep rather. Ball over the top, regathered by Ruan Nell. Ruan Nell had a couple of options, goes himself. Good support play. I think Marvin Ori there, as well as Joseph Drebber, deserve a mention in terms of support play that they did. A couple of good breakdowns secured by them. And then Leon Zas into the corner. $15 points to 0 with 34 minutes past. This is becoming a very, very, very big mountain for the Bulls to climb. A pretty important kick for this. 17-0 is a pretty big scoreline to be able to have to come back from. Right, now that's a really good looking kick. Is it going to straighten? It is going to straighten. Let's come back a little bit. Straight over the middle. Marnie Liebach, 3 from 3. Well, you know, a couple of people was talking about his goal kicking as one of his sort of shortfalls when we put that poll up. Well, yeah, there we go. He's 3 from 3, and none of them have been particularly straightforward. That one right up against the touchline. But Leland Zas didn't take part in the playoffs last year, if I can remember correctly. Did get injured. He has missed a lot of this campaign through injury as well. So very good for him to get back on the scoring sheet once he's back in the team. For the Bulls, got to find points for half-time. They're still down to 40 men. Very deep restart going to Ruan Nell there. Pretty intelligent restart, actually. You know, target the non-kicker, and that clearance has gone just past 22. So the Bulls, if they want to make a bit of a comeback, they've got to try and find... they're going to have to find some points before half-time, because if they're not, they could be in a bit of trouble, yeah. Ruan Nokia, it's a good take from him. Once is the call. And a penalty for the Bulls are coming around the side there from the Stormers. So another opportunity for the Bulls. This time they can go further to the corner. Change the binders, the call. It's against Marvin Ori. Carl Brink is on the park, by the way, so you can remove that yellow card. So, the yellow card is finished. Carl Brink, Bulls back to a full contingent. They've got 3 minutes. They're going to go to the corner. A try is going to be needed for half time. If they can go in with a try with a bit of momentum, then they could still be in this game. If they go in at 17 points to nil, you do start to wonder if it is a bit, a bit too far from them. Carl Brink, back on the park. He's had a pretty good start as well, so it's quite an important player to lose out on. Good take there from Ruan O'Keefe. Now the Bulls trying to run the road more. David Creel's involved as well. Edging slightly forward, doing the left-hand side. Looks pretty well set. And they're still edging forward, still edging forward, still edging forward. Dion Faris comes through the middle. Ball is available. Pick up and go from Gerard Steenekamp. They're right on the doorstep here, are the Bulls. Carl Brink. Carl Brink is over. Well, I'll tell you what, that's how you make amends for a yellow card. That is how you make amends. You come on and within a minute of being on, you scored a try. That's how you say, sorry, chaps, I apologize. I'll make amends. The Bulls do hit back through Carl Brink. He's having a pretty good game by that yellow card, which some people might think is a bit harsh. I think it's a bit silly from him. I think at the end of the day, whenever you talk about a harsh yellow card, don't give the referee a decision to make. Don't tackle the man off the ball like that, where it's not needed. So the Bulls will go back to the halfway line. Jaco Paper now wants to have a look at something. I think this looked pretty okay. Jaco Paper from his angle was happy with that. Now he wants to have a look, see if there was grounding, if it's over the line. I think it's all right. I think this angle you don't see it, but I think it's obviously from a slight angle. I think if you had a camera down the touchline, I think you'd be able to see it. Probably it did look over. This angle might be a bit of a better one. No, you can't see anything really there. The on-field decision was a try, so I don't see that being reversed. See, he looks slightly short there. So trying to find a better angle here. I'm not sure you're going to be able to find the best angle, to be honest. As I said, the on-field decision to try. I'm not sure we're seeing enough there to disallow it. Yeah, I see. I don't have any idea, basically. And the try does stand. The try does stand. Right, so Carl Brink's try does stand. So Bulls, and now Jan Christen, pretty important kick as well. Remember that he missed one, by the way, so it could have been 8 points to 17. This could have been 10 points to 17. Would have put them within a try of each other. So a pretty important kick this. Jan Christen starts down the right. It's going to curl back in quite nicely. It is over the middle. With 30 seconds to go, the Bulls do bring the gap down to 10 points. Right, so just have time for a restart. It'll be 20 seconds left when the ball does restart. Down the left-hand side it goes. There's been a miscommunication. Ball's kind of a bit loose, but Ulrich Lowe is there to clean up. Does very, very well as the 8th man. And they go back to Chris Smith. Chris Smith going down the centre of the park. Well, not looking to find touch. And I think David Billinson, however, will just say thank you very much. He asked for his teammates. He says, right, here we go. We've had enough. Let's go have some oranges at half time. Well, there we go. And at half time, the Stormers have played very well. They've outclassed the Bulls for the majority of that half. However, the Bulls have hit back and will go into the break with a try on the board. 17 points to 7. We'll be back in a few minutes. So please do not go away. We'll see you guys very shortly. Please go and I'm gonna put a poll saying, will the Bulls come back to win? That is the poll we're going to be putting out there. It's a simple yes or no question. By the way, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel as well. I've almost had 100 subscribers so far since we've been live, so feel free to keep adding yourself to that subscribers list. Let's try and see if we can get to 24,600 subscribers, and we will see you guys in a few minutes. Right, and we are live. Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on. Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Frere Sports. For today's guide on how to watch Stormers versus Bulls, the second URC quarterfinal, the first one featuring a South African side and 2 South African sides, which means the bad news is at least one South African side will be going home this weekend. The good news is at least one South African side is guaranteed to make it to the URC semi-finals. Maybe 2 if Sharks can pull off the impossible over at Leinster. So should be a very interesting weekend. But in terms of this game, it is being shown on a free-to-air broadcast. In fact, all the games are being shown on a free-to-air broadcasters. So basically, go check out the channel. We've got how to watch videos for every single game. We'll be live for all 4 games as well. I'll be taking you through them, and we're going to have a very enjoyable weekend of rugby. So make sure you come and join us for it. But yeah, in terms of this game, it is being shown on TG4. And before I show you exactly how to watch, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Now, TG4 is an Irish language channel, and it is available for free over if you are in Ireland. However, if you're not in Ireland, you can still access it using a VPN. Now, we recommend ExpressVPN, which is tried and tested and works. Now, by the way, in the description, we've got a step-by-step guide and everything you need to do to be able to watch the action. So first things first, you're going to get yourself what we call a VPN. Which is a virtual private network. Basically, that will geolocate your device to make it seem as if you're in Ireland. Now, you can use this method to be able to watch every single quarterfinal this weekend. So first things first, we're going to get ourselves a VPN. And as you can see, I've got it installed, and it's currently running on Ireland. So you're going to go to the little right, that little 3 dots over there. That'll bring up all the locations. You go to Ireland, you connect, and there we go. You're then going to click on the link in the description, which will take you to TG4. And because I've got it running on an Ireland server, I've currently got TG4 running. There it is. As you can see, it is... I have no idea what we're currently watching, but it is working, and that is currently live. That is TG4 live, and in semi HD. To be fair, I don't think the actual quality of the program is particularly good, but it will be in HD on Saturday, so you can watch all the action live and in HD using TG4 using this method. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. But apart from that, just follow the step-by-step guide, and you can watch all the action live. I recommend getting yourself a year subscription with ExpressVPN because we're going to show you how to watch every single game of the Rugby World Cup as well for free. As well, so go and get yourself there sorted. Please do smash like the video, subscribe to the channel. Any comments, put them in, or any questions, put them in the comments. Apart from that, we'll see you this weekend for some great rugby. Everybody, and welcome back to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And what a half of rugby we just watched. The Stormers currently leading the Bulls 17 points to 7. A very, very tiny performance from the Stormers in that half. A pretty poor performance from the Bulls. But importantly for them is that they have scored a try just before half time. So first of all, they're only 10 points behind, not 17. More to the point, they've got a bit of momentum. And we've got a poll running saying, can the Bulls make a comeback? So go and vote on that poll. Let me know if you think they can. If you don't think they can, I'm interested to see what the chat is. In terms of if anybody backs it. And yeah, so it should be a pretty exciting half to come. The Bulls going to have to come out firing. Really, there's not much of a. They don't really have a choice. Yeah, if they don't, they're out. And if they win, they would actually have a home semi-final, which is quite something to play for. So all to play for in this next half, because whichever side wins will have a home semi-final against Connacht next weekend. And I tell you what, I would fancy myself against Connacht, because you had to really empty the tank last night to get over the line against Ulster last night. So yeah, I think, in terms of, you don't want to say any teams there for the taking, but Connacht now have to travel. They'll probably be on a plane tonight, I'd imagine, if they can get themselves organised. Otherwise tomorrow down to South Africa, and then they'll obviously either remain in the high floor if they're going to Pretoria, or else they will move down to Cape Town if that is the destination of the semi-final there. And just before we go, I am going to show you guys a little bit of a clip. So in case anybody has missed the action, I'm going to show you just a very, very quick clip of what we missed, and let's see if we see any more of this in the second half.
Makes an important tackle, Levop finds Marie, and stuck into the corner, and back to his try-scoring ways.
Right, I just wanted to see if that was going to work. It does work, which is quite cool. So that was the try that Leon Zas scored in the first half. We are now going to kick off in the second half. The Bulls will be playing left to right. As I said, trail by 10 points. The question is, can they go all the way and mount a proper comeback, or is this going to be a Stormers semi-final at the Cape Town Stadium? The deep kick in there from the Bulls, and has fallen back to them, and Ruan Nokia's gone to the boot, doing a bit of flair there, the Bulls captain. And Herschel Yankees having to do a bit of cleaning up, and does very well, gets the offload away to Dave Williams as well. Just inside the 22 here are the Stormers. Now they're going to Evan Roos. Good carry from him. Now Herschel Yankees asked for cover block. He's going to go to the boot. And does find touch. Good touch find in the end, coming from Herschel Yankees. And yeah, but a bit under pressure there with the Stormers. But does find touch. And yeah, for now, the Stormers, I think it's a case of managing the game a lot. It's you can't afford to let the Bulls sort of come back, but you don't want to be overly aggressive, because you do want to sort of you want to chase the win. You want to get more points. Very good set piece being taken there by the Bulls. Harold Forster crashing up. We've barely seen him involved so far today, which shows you just how dominant the Stormers have been. Oh, boy, at the top there from Frans Mahela. A bit of a mistake. They're knock on from the Bulls. Dan Duplessis kicks it in behind. And Dan Duplessis has won it back. Johan Kroos has taken a big knock. Oh, Stephen Kitsel's running on a bit of a marauding run. Big opportunity up for the Stormers. Herschel Yankees caught the ball, but does manage to free his hands. Ruud van Heerden has done the only thing that would have been a bad thing to do. Of all the things, I mean, he had everything there. Absolutely everything in front of him. How has he stuffed it up? If you just made the offload, you could see the penalty. Oh, wait, the Stormers have won the penalty. Offside is the call. I was about to say there was obstruction, but offside in it. Jan Goosen stayed down. Dan Duplessis dove for the ball. I think he's collided with Jan Goosen. So this, I think, is going to be the end of Jan Goosen's match. Meanwhile, the Stormers have got a penalty right in front of the Poles, so the perfect opportunity for them to kick the points and get the first points of the second half. Oh yeah, head-to-head collision. Dan Duplessis, nothing in it really from a power play point of view. Dan Duplessis completely committed to it. They're both diving for the ball. It is a genuine rugby collision. So yeah, a bit of break and play. I think we're gonna have whilst Jan Goosen is going to be stretched off here. It didn't look particularly, as I said, head-on-head collision, and he just didn't move afterwards. So glad to see that Dan Duplessis okay. Obviously got the better end of the stick there. Keep voting on the poll, by the way. We're asking you, can they make a comeback? Can the Bulls make a comeback? Well, they're not going to be able to do it if they continue to concede penalties and stuff like this. So got to try and just tighten things up a little bit. So conceded quite a few penalties in the first half. So yeah, so we're still going to break and play. Please do smash like on the video, by the way. And subscribe if you're new. We've gotten past our 24,600, which is what I wanted out of today. So I appreciate your guys' work. You know, it's top stuff that. But let's keep building. Let's keep going. As I said, we are desperately trying to get to... I want to try and get to 25,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you're not subscribed, then go and do your part and subscribe. I mean, you're not asking a lot from you. We're not asking you to carry a bomb into Iraq. We're just asking you to press the subscribe button at the bottom of the YouTube channel. So feel free to go and do that. If you're looking to watch the game, then please go and check the description. We do have a guide on how to watch the game. Yeah, definitely going and checking on your hand, of course. They're taking a long time, and as they should. You don't want to rush something like this. You don't want to mess around with any hinge injuries and stuff like that. A bit of a leaky eye at the moment. I think something just flew and I got a bug in my eye. Anyway, I'm going to take an opportunity. Jeepers, it's still watering here. Crying out here, tearing up. I'm going to take an opportunity to open a... You know what? It all comes together with the castle. This is actually one of my aunt spears. This could actually be pretty old. Guess we'll find out, won't we? Me and my... Ah! That sound. Good brew. Good brew. Cheers, everybody. To Jan Goosen, speedy recovery. And to a very good half. To hopefully a very entertaining Leinster vs Sharks game coming up in just over an hour and 20 minutes. We'll be live for that game. This game will take you straight. They don't have to do anything. So we'll see you guys there very, very soon. That build-up will start in the next 10 minutes as well. Sweet, sweet nectar of the gods. Oh, that's a nice beer. That is a good beer. Right, my Book adds the extra. Stormers go up 20 points to 7. A 13-point gap does open up between the Stormers and the Bulls. More importantly for them, they get to the first point of the game. Gerard, you can't stream a game on YouTube. How many people need to actually learn this? Like, do you guys know it's illegal? Have you guys ever heard of copyright law? Like, just Google it and realize how illegal it is. As I said, you can't just walk into a shop and steal something. It's exactly the same thing if I start showing you guys Super Sports footage. I'm not going to have a multinational company come after me. No. So I've shown you how to watch the game. It's in the description. If you choose not to do that, I can't help you, unfortunately. I can only show you the live scoreboard, and I can tell you that Curtly Owen says won that ball back from an up and under. That's a really good work from him, but that's a brilliant turnover coming from, who was that? He got into, I can tell you what, it looked like a natural number 6 in that instant. That's a good take from Evan Lewis. I don't think that pass was destined to him. Throws the very loose offload to Moen Libok, who's now left it behind and eventually gone for a second go. No knock on those, so a lot of pressure on Storms, but they do have the ball. They're back inside their own 22, so this is much better from Bulls. Good pressure as well. Carl Brink trying to rip that ball from out of Evan Roos, and it's slow ball here for the Stormers. Now Hershey Yankees needs a good clearance here. Is he going to find touch? Not going to find touch. David Creel comes away with it, so not the best moment for Hershey Yankees. He played very well today. David Creel is a very nice carry, gets away from one, eventually brought down. But Evan Roos getting over that ball. And penalty advantage as well. Bit of a ball though. Francois Herbert scrum off. Hershey Yankees. Long pass over the top. On the bounce to that's inside to Damian Williams. So Damian Williams was stepping away. And a lot of pressure. There's a penalty advantage. I'm sure he'd like it to come. Releases the call. It needs to come down to the ground. They go to Chiva Diamond. Diamond popping up to Hershey. Just there. Goes into the space. Go Joseph! Oh no! The ball's gone forward as he's trying to offload to Evan Roos. Turnover ball. Kurt Lawrenson now looking to go back towards Stormers territory. It's a great run by Joseph Draven, just trying to free his arms. Then somebody hit his arms to try to get the offload. Evan Roos getting over that ball once again. This time he does win the penalty. It's good. That's 2 turnovers from Evan Roos in the last few minutes. Very good work from the Stormers number 8. And Joseph Draven just looked up and saw so much space. I don't think he really knew what to do with himself. Right, sub coming here for Stormers. Dion Faris going to make way, not surprised. And yeah, coming back from injury, not surprising to see he's not going to play a full game, but it was a really good cameo from Dion Faris in that 45-minute stint there. I think more importantly, it's 45 minutes into the legs, which means that he'll be able to last a lot longer next weekend. Good work this from the Stormers in the back of the line. And now Leon Zatz got a bit of space. Leon Zatz goes to the boot. Didn't get as much distance as he wanted. Stephen Huntz. And he's under a bit of pressure. The ball's all the way back inside their own 22. Good work from Stormers and Leon Zatz there. Nice little move off the back of the line. The lines have been very good as well. So Embarrass appear now at the base of the rack. Asks for a block in the form of Johan Kobela. Embarrass appear. Doesn't find touch. And David spills it sideways. Steps away from Navruko to come onto the park for Jan. Oh, and he steamrolled over Embarrass Appear as well. Goodness me. Brilliant physicality being shown by the Stormers 15. Now they go back to Molly Levi back towards David Williamson. Billy Engelbrecht, who's on the park. 2. Angelo Davis. Angelo Davis got nobody in front of him. Angelo Davis steps inside, does dot the ball down. We're going to have a check at the pass. But this should be the Stormers' third try. I think they're checking the pass. I think the grounding is okay. That's not what they're going to check here. They're going to check a pass in the build-up. Yeah, I'm not sure which pass they're going to go back and look at yet. Most of it looked pretty good. There we go. Angelo Davis, space in front of him. He goes over. Yep, try to stand. Well, there we go. 20, I think. Are they still looking at? No, try to stand. Yeah, so we can award the try there. There we go. That could be the winning shot. I tell you what, 25 points. Could be 27 points. 20-point lead. I just don't see how a Bulls team that's not played particularly well, hasn't really got going today. I don't see how they come back from that. Ebox kicked 4 from 4, so he's been really impressed today as well. That's another really good kick from Moynier. About 27 points to 7. This could actually get a bit ugly for the Bulls. if they're not careful, this could get very ugly for the Bulls. Right, restart coming there. Right, and they restart. Now Money Liebach kick over the top there towards Leon's dash. He's running to it brilliantly, but can't hold on. See Guido Nvuka making the tackle, and he's come away with the ball as well. And there was a knock on there from Zas. Well, I tell you what, this is when you can start seeing a very confident Stormers team. When you start seeing Money Liebach, little chips over the top, for example, playing with a lot. Just not a manager to hang on to that there as Leon Zas. He's looked pretty good, actually. Very sharp considering he hasn't played a lot of rugby recently. So comes straight back in the starting lineup. And John Dobson wasn't sure whether he was going to be able to play the full game. Right, scrum here for the Bulls and Bros appear. Going short to Chris Smith. Chris Smith popping up to help force. It's a good angle being run, but Dan Duplessis hanging on and Hershey Yankees helping him out as well. Good carry there from Stedman Kunz. Bulls now need to try and reply. Gerard Stenekam, nice tackle on him. By Ruben van Heerden and Hershey Yankees. Hershey Yankees have been everywhere today. Now they go back to Chris Smith. Chris Smith lifts it high in the air. Nvuka is lurking. Goes up against Leon Zas. Comes off Zas and bounces back to Liebach. He pops it back into Diamani. Throws it back into Dan Duplessis. Pops it back in for Damian Willemse. Damian Willemse has thrown a bit of a half-hearted pass and Ruan Nokia has knocked it down. It'll be a knock-on and will eventually be... the goal does come from Jakob Pay before the scrum. 51 minutes, half an hour to go. This would be a pretty incredible comeback if the Bulls were to do it. One doesn't really imagine it'll happen, but you never know. You do never know. Ruben van Heerden with a grade of 87 today. Very, very good signing he's been for the Stormers. I thought when they announced it, I thought that's exactly the type of sign they needed to replace JD Schickerling. And he's stepped in very, very well. So he's been a fantastic addition to this team. Ball is available for Hershey Yankees at the base. Now Dan Duplessis fires a kick in behind. It's a pretty deep kick from David Creel, who's retreating. Liebach returns the favour. It's a brilliant take from Kurt Lawrence. Kurt Lawrence has got a bit of space ahead of him. Still goes Kurt Lawrence. Pops it up to David Creel. Has David Creel got the gas? Angelo Davis is trying to reel him in. Ball back inside. Ruan Nokia is just short. No, he's grounded it. He's grounded. Well, I'll tell you what, the Bulls are not done yet. There we go. Well, where's that been? Kurt Lawrence, individual brilliance from him. It might be too little. Too late. They've still got plenty of time. They've still got 28 minutes to play. But end-to-end stuff. A deep kick there. Brilliant take from Kurt Lawrence on the run. Good support play. Ruan Nokia always seems to manage to get himself into these positions. Does score quite a few tries for a lock. And a lot of it just comes to that relentless sort of work rate. Deep kick coming from David Creel. The return from Monty Liebach was not particularly well chased. And Kurt Lawrence just Straight out of the air. Bing. Oh, we're going to have a look at this. Not quite sure what we're going to have a look at, but we're going to have a look. I think they're going to have a look at the ground here. I think it was all right. Has he got control of this? Oh dear, he's not scored it. He's not scored it. I take everything back. He has not scored it. There's no separation, but there's no downward pressure. So there's no grounding. You're going to have to come all the way back. It's going to be a knock-on. Or goal line dropout, so he's over the line. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, that could have been a big moment. That could have been the moment where they could have maybe tried and started to come back. But he's not found grounding there, has Ruan Nokia. It's a great effort anyway. But it's not going to be enough to get them back into the game so far. They're going to need to try and score quickly, though. But, a bit of confidence booster. You know, they now know they can. Now they just need to do. Right, short restart there from the Stormers. And Alric Lowe's underneath it. Stephen Kitsop makes the tackle. Ambrose Pierre going to Ruan Vermaak. Ruan Vermaak decides to go up against Evan Lewis, and he's still going. Ruan Vermaak, I think he's had a very underrated season there, the number 4. He is still going, by the way. Eventually brought down a few meters short of the 22. Ambrose Pierre behind this forwards to Chris Smith. Chris Smith to Harold Forster. Harold Forster's grabber has fallen towards Angelo Davis, who has knocked it forward, so it will be a scrum for the Bulls. Not sure was the right option from Harold Forster, but it's ended up pretty well in the end. Right, so a couple of very disgruntled looking Bulls fans there. They're going to need a bit of a miracle. And there are 27 minutes left. They've got 20 points. They almost need to score a point a minute to try and stage a comeback and win this game. Right, kicking behind there, David Willemse has marked. It's a great take from David Willemse. Over the top of his shoulders, Kurt Lance to point out the best option. Yeah, you want us to keep ball in hand. You know, they really haven't had a lot of possession. And you talk about game plan, you talk about tactics, but I'd just like to see them with more ball in hand. I mean, right there, for example, they kicked it over the top on the back of a decent scrum. Damien Willemse has marked it. Now he's going to hammer it downfield. He's going to find touch by just between the 10 meter and the 22. So it will be attacking lineup for the Bulls, but pretty much in the same position where they had the scrum. So they've beaten up 2 minutes and got themselves to a similar position. They'll have a line-out, which is sometimes a better option to attack from. Anyway, Ben Jason Dixon's on for Chiba Diamani. I've been very impressed with what I've seen from him this season. And John Dobson was even talking about the fact that they're a bit unsure about their number 7 role. Because you've got a Ben Jason Dixon and Chiba Diamani, very different type of players. Jan Kobler goes to Ruan Nokia. It's a good take. Looking for the rolling more. Are the Bulls penalty advantage as well? Oh dear, that's a dreadful pass. He's had Carlson into the park, and he's just hammered that into somebody else. But the penalty advantage was there. We're going to end the poll there. So after 644 votes, we asked, can the Bulls mount a comeback? And 69% of people saying no. Well, if they're going to need to score pretty quickly. Right, they're on the 5 meter line here, the Bulls. Got to try to score a try. These cars come on the right hand side of that maul. Ball available. They're 5 meters out. Albert Lowe is picked up and gone. Now for Pierre, going to run for Mark. It's another good carry from Ruin for Mark. I tell you what, he's just short. Underrated ball carrier, Ruin for Mark. Pick up and go from Kyle Brink. He's already scored 1 try today. Now Albert Lowe just short. Krobelar. Also short. Good tackle there from Billy Engelbrecht and Joseph Dweber. Kyle Brink. Good tackle from Frans Malherbe. Now Mornay Smith has had a dive at the line. Penalty advantage. He was just short. Nizam Karsh trying to get that ball. I think it's Roy Nokia who wants it. Short. And Ambrose Pierre slips, turns around, gets away from one. He's going to go over the corner here, Ambrose Pierre. That's brilliant from him. And he's working really hard to try and get into the inside, make an easier conversion. Ambrose Pierre, a bit of magic. The ball's hit back. That's the try they've needed. Still a long way to go. 3 converted tries to get them into the lead. But that's try number 1. Yep, the score is correct. By the way, we get it straight from a data feed from the official from an official account. So the score is, unless it's a little bit delayed, is always correct. But today it is working. The URC ones work very well, so the score is correct. Right, Chris Smith now, important conversion. This every point of the year for the Bulls, very important. And Chris Smith, the starter towards the right, coming back in. He'll go over the middle, so 27 points to 14. Dare to dream. Dare to dream. Ambrose Pierre, who just slipped actually, and then got up, saw the space, and showed a really good turn of pace. This pitch, I tell you what, if they're going to play here next weekend, I don't know what they're going to do. I have actually no idea what they're going to do to try and fix this pitch up in a week. It's been absolutely chopped up today. Run from Mark, it's a good take from him. He's been very impressive today. I think it's turnover ball, yeah. Yep, it has fallen back to the Yankees, and my box there puts the grubber in behind, and Ben Jason Dixon is chasing this very hard. Kirk Owens just decides to kick that out. Right decision. There were so many almost players around there. Dan WC wants to take this quickly, and absolutely no deep. But does take a 52 Hershey Yankees, but not on the mark there. What's wrong with the pitch? Basically, there was a monster truck thing happening here 2 weeks ago, and the pitch was undercover for about 2 or 3 weeks and had all that sand and all that crap on it. So, yeah, it's not looking good, looking very dead, and it's been absolutely churned up from today. And, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do for next weekend. I don't know if it's going to be replaced in terms of the turf for next weekend. In terms of the last, though, it's almost 11 from 11, by the way. So, Joseph Dweber, I think it's been a pretty good acid test about his performance under pressure in the line-out. Another good take there from Marvin Ori. Joseph Dweber controlling things in the back, and then goes himself. Pops it up to Vinny Engelbrecht, but it's fallen towards Chris Smith. Penalty for, I think, offside is the call, yeah? Ruin now pointing towards the corner. Offside, there's the mark. It could be kickable, and if I'm them, I'm taking the points. Try and get them away from 2 more converted tries. Alternatively, you can kick towards the corner. Yeah, they are going to take the point. Cess does prevail. Yeah, see, unfortunately, as I said, from a pitch perspective, obviously having the Darnie Craven would be very cool, but they're never gonna move it because the revenue that they'll make from selling 40,000 more tickets next weekend is too important to lose. Starting Craven with a capacity of what, I think 20 maybe. $16,000, yeah, 16,000 versus a 50,000 capacity. You're going to be able to sell an extra 24,000 tickets. You know, you're not gonna move the game, unfortunately. And some actually, probably like an extra 30,000 tickets. Right, my Ebok. As the extras, I think that could be a bit of a knockout blow. 30 points to 14. Now a 16-point margin. Bulls now need in 18 minutes 2 converted tries and a penalty, and yeah, you got to think that this is probably a step too far now for the Bulls. And it looks like Angelo, is that Leon Zat coming off? I imagine it is. He hasn't played a lot of rugby. JJ Kotzer coming onto the park as well. Deep restart, Damien Billings. He's been so good to once again today, playing in some really, really good rugby. Young is back to Evan Roos. Just inside 22, yeah. So Hershey Yankees can look for untouched. Keegan Johannes, Pio Matanzima, Francois Kropper. Looks like Bulls are pretty much unloaded their entire bench. I don't know if Bismarck Duplessis is on. I don't see there's a red scrum cap of Jan Krobel, so no Bismarck just yet. But Keegan Johannes will add a bit of pace and intensity. Nizam Carr steps on the inside. JJ Kotzer and Francois Herbert complete the tackle. There's a Stormers player down, and I think that's Damien Willemse. It is Damien Willemse. He's been in the wars. I'll tell you what, if I'm the Stormers, I'd really look at bringing him off. With 17 minutes to go, he's not a player you want to risk losing. Inside ball there for Harold Forster. Runs into Ben Jason Dixon. Bulls have just looked a little bit unimaginative, to be honest. Chris Smith there fires out towards Ulrich Lowe. Ulrich Lowe. Kurt Owens to try to get on the outside of Ruan Null. Does bring him down. Almost a little bit of a penalty tackle. Looks a little bit like a seatbelt. Keegan Johannes, nice and pure. Mantanzima. Inside ball. That's a brilliant line break. Ruan from mark. Into the 22. But that is really, really well done. And just no support play. Ruan now showing his 7 skills, getting into a position, jacking that ball. Great line break from Ruan from mark, but just no support around him and then losing out in the penalty. Kind of sort of sums it up. Every single time the Bulls have had a really good moment, they've followed up with a bit of sloppiness. Yeah. Looked at it. I think they'd feel a bit grieved by the seatbelt tackle. Looked like one on Kurt Lawrence. I think they might be taking a look at it, There is a break in play, so it could be the penalty could be reversed, Yeah, they are going to have a look here. And I hope he doesn't have a look. I hope that Marius has just gone and said, listen, I've checked it. There is a high tackle. Bring it back here. It'll be a penalty for the Bulls. Let's go. And I think that's exactly what's happened. Yeah, it is exactly what happened. I appreciate that. Ruan now, I don't think he agrees with the decision. I don't know what gives me that idea, but that's a Bulls fan that's well on his way, well oiled, as they say. A couple of Bulls fans, I think, very much on the lager. I don't think Ruan now can have too many complaints there. It is a seatbelt tackle. Right, so I don't know if the sack's good apparently. So it's a good defense from the Stormers. I don't know if it's available there for Keegan Johannes. No, it's going to be turned over. Well, there it is. Once again, what have we kept saying? That the Stormers, what they've done pretty well, what the Bulls have done pretty poorly, buckets, is that every single time they've had an opportunity, they've managed to turn the ball over, force a knock on, force something, and that's another turnover. Ruan Nokia is having a big complaint to Yucca Paper. He's not happy with it. So we're going to restart with a scrum here. Both the Stormers props are still on. All right, 14 minutes to go. Stormers with a 16-point lead. Pretty solid scrum. Not much happening yet. And they're going to have another reset there. Francois Herber and Spearman Tanzim are going down in the end there. I think Chris Smith might make the box one day. Well, he needs to be backed a bit more, doesn't he? I mean, Johan Kirsten came back from injury and just walked straight back into the starting lineup. So you're going to feel a bit sorry for Chris Smith. I think he's a solid option. I don't think he's a player who'll let you down too much. I don't think he's got the X factor, or, I don't think he's that next level. But with a couple of injuries, I think he's quite a safe option to be able to bring and play to a specific game plan. A reminder, we will be live for Leicester versus Sharks. You don't have to do anything. Just stay on the stream and it'll take you right to that stream. It is currently live with some build-up as well. I'll be live in less than an hour for that game as well. So we'll see you guys then. And then Munster versus Glasgow tonight. They decided to go the short side here, Stormers. David Visser finding himself on the wing, puts it to the boot. David Creel starts to go himself, steps away from one, gets away from Hershey Yankees as well, gets away from Evan Lewis, but Ben Jason Dixon makes the tackle. Nizam Carr. Johannes now. Chris Smith, Batal Forster. Ruan now popping up the line, but Billy Engelbrecht and Danny Lucille there to cover for him. Now Chris Smith decides to go back on the angle. Ruan from Mark, ball over the top towards Mornay Smith, who runs onto it. Sorry, Francois Klopper. Keegan Johannes now to Chris Smith. Nizam Carr on the angle there. Inside ball to Steman Khan. Steman Khan's got Creel outside of Creel. Back into Steman Khan's. Steman Khan's ball up to Keegan Johannes, who loses it forward. That was brilliant support play. Very nice offloading. Good defense, it must be said. By the way, Sasha Feinberg Gomezulu is on. Looks like it could be on for, I think, Angela Davids and both Leon and Zas could be off, which means that I think that David Williams has actually gone onto the wing and Feinberg Gomezulu into full back. It's really good work there. And Keegan Johannes, a good tackle from Dan DBC on Keegan Johannes to force that knock on. Yeah, in a couple of moments, the Bulls have been almost there. You look at that Ruan Nokia try, if he had scored that. Dan Duplessis, I tell you what, could be a Springbok bolter for me. If there were a couple of injuries, I would have absolutely no issue whatsoever in throwing him in the deep end for the Springboks this year. No, looking at head contact here, Dan Duplessis on Keegan Johannes. Maybe he could be in a bit of trouble here, actually, having said all that. So it will be just a scrum. No issues there. Right, 12 minutes to go. And you got to think that the job is pretty much done here for the Stormers. Right, Neertling for Sheer onto the park. So just Ali Mark, who hasn't been brought on. Stephen Kitsoff does tend to play quite a long innings in these games as well. Doesn't look like this is going to be his last game in the Stormers shirt. Looks like he will be returning next weekend. And then have a reset here for the Bulls. Well, we said that we thought they'd be a bit better, and yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one to see exactly how they respond in the off season. Marcel Garcia is returning, and probably need, for me, I think they need a couple of props. I think Gerard Steenkamp and Mornay Smith are good replacements, but I think that they're really missing Trevor Nyakane. Probably need to look at centers for me. I think are a little bit Harold Forster and Niall Corey Hendricks are solid, but I don't think they're world class at the moment. So I mean, I'll be interested to see what the recruitment strategy is for the Bulls in the off season. Right, Hershey Yankees to Moy Leibach onto his left boot. It's going to go straight down the throat of Kurtley Orenser. Kurtley Orenser chip and chase. Bit of traffic for him to get through, and turnover ball here. They throw it back to Damien Williams, who stepped away from his car, steps away from Alric Lowe. Keegan Johannes putting the fullback under a lot of pressure. Now Hershey Yankees popping it up to Ben Jason Dixon. All about managing the game now for the Stormers. Hershey Yankees lifting it high down that left-hand side. Pretty good clearance from him. It'll be a Bulls line at halfway between the 10 metre and the 22. And probably a lot of pressure now going on Jake White. I suppose the only sort of silver lining is that they'll be able to throw all their efforts into the Currie Cup, which I think Jake White reckons they can win. I think is trying to win. I think that'll be sort of the bit of the salvation of the season to try and win that Currie Cup. Now Matanzima, solid carry from him. Stephen Kipsov, however, getting over that ball and winning the penalty. Spicy Plum doing as Spicy Plum does best. I don't know if anybody saw, there was a video of him practicing his lineouts in the earlier stages of the week, and looks like it could be an option to throw a ball into the line if it really need to be. But 9 minutes to go, 16 points. I don't see a Bulls comeback coming here, so I think the Stormers have booked their spot in the semi-finals. They will have a home semi-final. Connacht will travel down to them, and that boosted the chances of a final for the Stormers immensely. And somebody's going to have to do them a favour and beat Leinster if they are to try and find a home final. They've got to get through Connacht first. And I'll tell you what, Connacht last night wasn't maybe the cleanest of games. Lots of handling errors, quite a high error rate. But physically, I thought Connacht were pretty impressive. And just kind of grounded out that victory against a decent Ulster side. He didn't really pitch up last night, but you can only play what's in front of you. And Connacht outplayed them on the day. Right, Marvin Ory front of the line. Good take there. JJ Kotzer making no mistake. Picking up where Joseph Draper left off. Paul DeVette onto the park as well. So I think it's pretty much the entire bench. Except for 8 for Mark. Andrew Bassi back on the angle. Presented for Paul DeVette. Paul DeVette popping up for Evan Ruiz. So okay, from him, Bismarck Duplessis on the park for the Bulls as well. Now Ville Engelbrecht. Good carry from him. Paul DeVette going to Moynier. Moynier wants to chip and chase for himself. Chips over the top. Navuki gets across and makes a good take. And but he's throwing a strike back to Ruan now. And Dan Duplessis, has he held on to that? I don't think he has. And it will be a knock-on, so pretty good handling there. Navuka did very well before throwing it straight back towards Ruan now. Another good game there for Dan Duplessis in the form of his life. And, they talked about how much they missed Warwick Lund, but Dan Duplessis has played so well at 12, but they've had no issue just shifting Damien Williams back to fullback, where he's played really well throughout the entire season. Navuka did very well. They got away from 2 plays. The big man is Sibogila Navuka. I think we'll see a lot more of him in the Currie Cup over the next few weeks. A big shout out to everybody who has subscribed to the channel. We've gone past the 24,600 mark. We're actually closing on the 24,700 mark. We are desperately trying to get 25,000 by the end of May. So if you guys haven't subscribed, this is our biggest watch along in quite a while, then please do make sure you subscribe, join the channel, come and join the Chias. There's a lot of Chias, a lot of chat, a lot of good fun that we do have. We are also currently doing a live series. We're doing live shows twice a week where we are choosing our World Cup squad. And we've got props and hookers. We'll be choosing locks and loose forwards. Well, there it is. Stephen Kitsoff. Thanks to the crowd as he goes off. Another really big performance from him and a shake of the hand to the match official. He'll be back next week at the DHL Cape Town Stadium for what could also be his last game, depending on what happens with Leinster and what happens with next weekend. Big scrum coming in from the Stormers. Elric Lowe picks up and goes himself. Good tackle that from Marnie Liebach as well. Keeping your hands back towards Chris Smith. Go to the left-hand side. Go to Curtly Orange. So Curtly Orange stepping around 2 or 3 players. Eventually brought down by JJ Kotzer. So Pio Bantanzima showing go from him. Nako Swanepoel onto the park as well. Ball's on the floor. Ali from Mark made a turnover. Well, that's a nice way to get going in the game. Paul de Vet now to Marnie Liebach. Inside ball to Damien Willemse. Damien Willemse stepping away from one. Popping up Dan Duplessis. Goes to Marnie Liebach. Marnie Liebach ball over the top. To Ruan now. They've got some numbers here. Inside ball to Fabian Gomez-Zulu, who managed to get away to, I think it's Angelo Davis. It was good work there from Angelo Davis. I don't know how Fabian Gomez-Zulu actually got that offload away, to be honest. Not sure it was the right decision from Ruan now. Good offload, though, from Fabian Gomez-Zulu, and then the kick from Angelo Davis coming off Derek Creel. So I think it should be a Stormers line out, which will suit them just fine. Marvin Ori down receives some treatment. He often does go down, to be fair, Marvin Ori. I don't think I've ever seen him make a full match without spending a bit of time on the turf. Good line out there. Looking at the line of defense. Right, so we are just less than 45 minutes away from Sharks versus Leinster. We will be live for that game, of course. So basically, if you stay on the stream, all you have to do is basically remain here. This will redirect to the Leinster versus Sharks game, where we can have another good time there. Can Sharks do the impossible? If there were to be Leinster, it means that Stormers next week would be playing for a home final, another home final. Ulster are out, so at this stage, Leinster win, they'll get a home final. Well, that's a familiar face to Stormers fans. Sia Khaleesi in the stands. I suppose he's no longer a Sharks player, so he could probably support the Stormers, actually. And look at the reception he's getting from the crowd. Yeah, still a breaking play for JJ Kotzer. Will restart the proceedings with another line-out. Come on, chaps, let's get this going. We've only got 7 minutes to go. Let's get through this, shall we? Come on. That's an interesting look from Evan Roos. He kind of looks a bit like a dildo, to be honest. With a condom on his head. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be using this with too many profile pictures here, old Evan Roos. But I suppose needs must. He's well wrapped. JJ Kotzer goes to Marvin Ori. On the 22 here are the Stormers. Advantage as well here. But the Stormers are still more going. Billy Engelbrecht, who's pretty hit hard as from Barbatanza afterwards. And after all that work on Evan Lewis wrapping up their head, it's just popped straight off. Waldevet goes back to Moneybuck chipping over the top with penalty advantage down the right-hand side. Curly Orange, Jamie Phillips, oh, has he got that down? I tell you what, I think he has. He can't believe it. Look at him. Look at him. He's impressed with himself. I think he's actually done this. He can't gather the ball. It pops up, but he continues going after it. He grabs it. I think he might have gotten this down. Well, he's quite impressed with himself. Let's see if it's warranted. Right, so it bounces up, and he has a go first time and misses it. He then jumps up, grabs it. Where is he going to land? Where's that foot going? I think it's in touch. I think it'll be undone. It's just out. It is just out. It's almost a brilliant effort from him, and I think it is going to be out. Yeah, this is another angle here. Let's see if in this angle, if it looks like, if you can see a bit of daylight between the... Ooh, I tell you what. Nah, I think he's out. I think he's out. The crowd are trying to say that it's a try. I'm not convinced. Yeah. No try. Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair as well. It's almost a brilliant effort from Damien Phillips. It's a fantastic effort to even get into that position. But we'll go back for the penalty here for the Stormers, and you can see the celebrations have pretty much started with 6 minutes to go. They're not gonna turn over a deficit of 16 points. So the penalty for offside. Right, so my Levi's going to go for the 3 points here. This will be it. This will be 19 points. Gary's saying, important game. More important, though, performance of possible Springboks. Did they hold up in the game? I think, to be fair, Ulrich Lowe, I think, has played pretty well for the Bulls. Kurt Lawrence has been very good. For the Stormers, if you look at the Springboks, Frans Maherba, Stephen Kutzel, Joseph Trevor, I thought very impressive. Marvin Oy put in a decent shift. Evan Lewis looked pretty good. Damien Phillips looked really, really good as well. Dan Duplessis, I think, is putting his hand up as well. So I think all the players we wanted to do well, we expected to do well, and you know, they've risen to the occasion. I think it has been all the stars in inverted commas. I can't think of any big name players who haven't really played well. Johan Clausen got that concussion. I think Carl Brinks played pretty well to give him his due. Jan Krobler was pretty industrious. Leon Zast looked pretty good on his return. I think it's the HIA here for Diamani's back on. So I think Ben Jason Dixon has gone off for an HIA. No, Marvin Ory's gone. So yeah, so Diamani's back on, which means Ben Jason Dixon will move into lock. It's a really good effort from Fabian Gomezulu, who's I think he hurt himself in the process and had somebody else down from the Stormers, but they've got turnover. Well, on turnover, well, they've got the ball out towards Angela Davis, who's come standing inside, and Marpu makes the tackle despite being run over in the process. Paul DeVeer go to Ben Jason Dixon. Good hand there from Diamani. Fabian Gomezulu, nice and deft to JJ Kotzer. Stormers not done yet. Oh, he's delayed the pass. Two for him, so a bit of a juggle. And he's thrown it to nobody. No look pass. No look pass. Damien, come on, man. Basics, basics, basics. Well, I think the Storm, Bulls line out, and Carl Brink is receiving some, I think this is for cramp. You got a yellow card earlier on, but apart from that, I think he's been pretty good. Mark Van Staden's been quite quiet, but Bulls having a lot of ball in hand. Good one for Mark. He was probably my standout player for the Bulls. Him and Kurt Lawrence, I think, were probably their two best players. Go look at find some of the stats. Be interested to see what Marco Starton's stats look like, because he can sometimes, you know, if you don't see his ball carried, you'll be always surprised by some of the work he gets through. So Marco Van Staden, 7 tackles, 2 carries. Yeah, it is quite a quiet game from him. Carl Brinken, in contrast, 3 tackles, 7 tackles. But run for Mark, 6 carries, 3 tackles, 3 defenders beaten, 26 meters gain. That's a pretty good performance from their lock there. Marpu stepping inside a couple, getting off that away from Nizam Carr as well. Bulls bowling from deep, yeah. Yanko Swan popping up to Chris Smith. Good hands there. Ulrich Lowe past the 10-meter line. Giannis to Nizam Carr. Does well to get the ball back towards Johannes. Now Chris Smith firing out to David Creel, who's worked hard today. David Creel, very highly rated by the Bulls coaching staff. Now Mornay Smith, Francois Klopper, he looks similar. Two tight heads. Chris Smith to Harold Forster trying the cross kick towards Albert Lowe's got plenty of space. Inside ball to Ruan Nokia. You kind of want a couple of backline players there. Nabuka does add a bit of support at the breakdown. Sapir Matanzima, he loves carrying the ball. And a penalty against Ben Jason Dixon at the turnover there. Right, can the Bulls finish with a bit of a positive note here? They are going to be going out. They will be finishing the URC campaign in the quarterfinals, which is 2 rounds earlier than last season. But I suppose 2 seasons, 2 playoffs. They've got Champions Cup rugby. It wasn't a good season for them, though, was it? They never really, got going. You know, they had some good passages of play. But when Jake White, had that, was in hospital and was out for a couple of months. I mean, they went those 2-3 months without winning a single game, and that kind of, I think, really just sort of was the end of their season. I think they've improved in the last couple of weeks, but today they've been beaten by a Stormers team, which are very impressive. And Stormers have not looked particularly good in the last few weeks, but today looked much better. Keegan Johannes, Nabuka's left it forward, but there was a penalty advantage, so they'll have another opportunity to go here. With 1 minute left, 1 minute left of the game, and then the Stormers will go and celebrate and then start their preparations for a URC semi-final, a consecutive URC semi-final. Ulrich Lowe's going to tap and go. He's got Ruan Nokia next to him. St. Pierre and Tanzania, Francois Klopper, Bismarck Duplessis. Ulrich Lowe goes himself. Big hit on him. Pops it up to Keegan Johannes. Keegan Johannes caught on the ball by JJ Kotzer, who was alert to the threat. Good work from the reserve hooker. St. Pierre and Tanzania now pick up and go. Big carry from him. Ball's available there to Bismarck Duplessis. Short, good defense from Netley Bashir. Janko Swanepoel with a big hit on him. Ball available there. Superior Mantanzima once again, just short. Bismarck Duplessis right up against the try. Oh, that's so intelligent from Bismarck. And unfortunately, you don't hear that very often. But he almost went, Ali Mark went, and as Ali Mark then realized he had to retreat offside, Bismarck Duplessis just grabbed and placed it. So the Bulls will score the last points of the game. They'll have an opportunity to make this 33 points 21, which makes it a bit more respectable. But at the end of the day, they were never really in this game. Stormers versus Connacht. The first semi-final is locked in. It will be at the DHL Cape Town Stadium next week, Saturday. Probably around a similar time, if not maybe a 5 o'clock kickoff. We have to wait and see. I'd imagine this will be the early game. I don't know if we'll have a 5 o'clock kickoff here and then a Hopper State kickoff or then. But yeah, it was an interesting game and a high-scoring game, which you don't often see in playoffs. You know, last night we saw a very closely fought game between Ulster and Connacht. This far more tries, 6 tries in the game. We can't complain about that. A very poor pitch, something they're going to have to try and rectify in a week. I'm not sure how possible that is. But Chris Smith will add the extra 2 points. Final score at the DHL Cape Town Stadium, 33 points rather, to 21. The Stormers move into the semi-finals. The Bulls move out. Jake White, we'll hear what he has to say. Both press conferences from John Dobson and Jake White will be on Forever Rugby a little bit later, so keep an eye out on that channel. Apart from this, I'm going to end the stream here. You guys are all going to be directed straight to the Leinster versus Sharks game, and I'll be live with you in about 20 minutes' time. We do have some build-up. You can listen to our fan forum in the meantime. And again, the how to watch guide is in the description over there. Same sort of thing. It's on RTE, which means you can also listen to English commentary as well. People, thank you very much for spending your time with me. I will see you guys very shortly over on the Shark stream.